Hey everybody, it's Adam. This is, yes, another Mailbag episode, and yes, this was supposed to come out back in September, if you remember. However, we got hit with a bunch of COVID restrictions, and there were some technical issues that we ran into very recently as well, which is why our Call of Cthulhu episode for December is coming out late. It is coming, and some of you have asked about it, but we have just run into these minor snags over and over again. Thank God for Dan, who has kept the regular show up and running. I know that we've got Dave, who is currently sorting out the next step for touring the multiverse. I also know that we've got the campaign builder. A bunch of episodes are recorded and being worked on right now, and they're coming again in the new year. So we're getting back up on track, and we wanted to release this one anyway. This is a bit of a strange mailbag episode, but we hope you guys enjoy it. We love you all. And now let's cut to the chase.
Welcome back to another Mailbag episode of the It's a Mimic podcast. I am Terry. I'll be your Dungeon Master for this episode. With me are Adam and Dan. And a little bit of an interesting episode this time. We are going to be taking questions from our co-hosts Megan, Dave, and Brad. I have told myself I'm not going to look at any of the questions until they're rolled. We're going to go for maximum of 2 hours.
Hi guys. This is Adam again in the editing suite, and no, we did not hit our maximum runtime of 2 hours. Shit, do we ever actually follow our maximum runtimes? Fuck no. Shit, what was Terry saying?
So, because we expect these questions to be interesting,
but mostly bullshit. This is revenge for us hitting them with our questions back in January, so
we'll go and we'll just keep going. I mean, we may ruin ourselves after 10 minutes.
I hope we ruin them.
We have 3 tables. We have the Brad table, we have the Dave table, and we have the Megan table.
There are 20 questions on each. We got D20s for each, and we're going to be rolling and answering, hopefully D&D questions, but
more than likely not.
More than likely not. I'm trying to keep my eyes off the paper. My vision is terrible anyway, so I can't read it without staring at it for 10 seconds, and then it'll focus.
All right, so I'm just going to say drinking game. Every time they ask us about genitals, someone has to take a shot.
Sure.
The listener at home has to take a shot.
I have blueberry pomegranate sparkling water.
And anytime they bring up my furniture, take a shot.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, cool. There we go.
Okay, we ready?
Yep.
Well, let's roll initiative for us.
Sure.
Thank you, Adam.
I got a 5.
I got an 18.
I got a 16.
All right, so we're going to go counterclockwise around the table. I'm going last.
Okay. I will start with Brad. Pass me the Brad dice.
Brad?
All right. Mail slave Brad, what do we got here with a 16?
16. Brad asks you, well, he asked Adam, do you ever feel like you overkill your prep for your campaign? How much of it do the players really experience?
Okay, all right. So, no, I don't. I don't over-prep a campaign. I do super amounts of prep, but I do not do overkill. They're not going to see every single village that I did, but it's good for me to know what the size of the kingdom is and how big it is. Be able to make reference, and they say, oh, where are you from? Where are you traveling from? Oh, this village over here. I have an answer for everything. Mm-hmm. And as a result, everybody trusts my world is complete and that I'm not pulling shit out of my ass.
That's true.
Look, you can do a deep dive into cartography, for example, to make maps that the players will never see, and that's fine. I don't consider that overkill. I consider that you focusing on one thing and becoming an expert on one aspect of your campaign, but do not do it to the detriment of other aspects. If you are focusing only on NPCs to the point where you don't know what the geography looks like around your town, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So you have to do a little bit of everything, become a jack of all trades, and then choose what to become a master of. For example, I built an entire 85-page Bible with a massive pantheon of brand new characters and that interact with the D&D pantheon in different and unique ways. I did not come up with specific mindsets or cults for each one of them or anything. I set that up ahead of time, and whenever a player started to focus in on one of them, that's when I would create that.
Yeah.
So I laid the groundwork,
Yeah.
and then I take it from there. So
I would say, as somebody who has both played in your campaign and DM'd in your campaign setting, because I've had to do that now as well. It's when I was playing it. I'm the type of player who wants to see everything. I want to experience everything. I want to know everything that's going on. And there's a little bit of FOMO, a little bit of fear of missing out. It's like, because I trust that Adam has built such a beautiful world that I know I could be like, all right, I want to go to this random spot here. Adam, what's going on? And you go, 1 second, flip 3 pages, this. Right? And I know I could trust that. At times, I kind of shit on you because it's more than I would do. But when you handed me the reins to DM it and DM in it, it was incredibly reassuring when I could be like, okay, I want to throw this little point in here. Does that work? And you're like, no, you can't do that there. They can't be there. Try a different path. And as a DM setting up an interesting 12-session arc, that was incredibly helpful.
one of the things you did in this past week, you said, there are 13 gods in your pantheon, and I didn't even answer. I just flipped you the PDF of the list of the gods, including what they look like.
Yeah.
Right? And if you want, I can give you the PDF of all of their domains and what they have dominion over as well. Like, I've got all that lined up ahead of time, and it's one line each. There's not a whole bunch involved there.
No.
Because I need room to expand as I need for the campaign. But it's set up the framework by giving myself limitations and coming up with absolutes. I now have a framework I can work within.
Yeah.
Right? And I can be as creative as I want in this particular sandbox.
Love it. Nice. Okay, who's next?
You.
Me? I'll do Megan. That a good idea?
All right. Good luck, Terry.
Okay, Megan, just don't be a dick. Okay. 4.
I'll read it for you here, Terry.
Sure.
Where do you see the podcast in 5 years, ignoring the fact that Adam has each episode planned for the next decade? Which is an actual thing.
That might be true, yes.
So, Terry, where do you see the podcast 5 years?
I see this podcast as becoming actually a very trusted resource for unique ideas. I think we really try and think outside of the box, and I think there's resources for making the regular ideas simpler. Like, here's a load of really cool like templates on how to do this and this and this is where, and like kind of project management tools and people's opinions of things. I know that's what we do, but I think if people are really looking for unique ideas, I think this will be one of the go-to podcasts. Mm-hmm. I can also see with all the work that you two guys put in with the other teams as well that we have, that it's clearly expanding off into the people will use this It's a Mimic brand for different types of resources. People may listen to the campaign builder episodes that will probably never listen to like touring the multiverse episodes because it just doesn't lean into what they need. But the fact is that you guys have identified areas in the market that we can hit and find a reason why this podcast can be used for everybody's needs with D&D, which is what I really love. Obviously, I'm truly loyal to the original podcast that we have because this is where I feel that I can put in my strength the most.
Yeah.
But I see the need so much for the others. So in 5 years, I think it's going to be a legit go-to resource, which is well known. It's going to be like the thing where people are like, obviously, you need to listen to that podcast because that is the one to go to for that.
Dan, do you have an answer?
I'm hopeful for the same. That we can really help new players and old players alike in really generating fun, intriguing, captivating storylines on their table. And I want to know what those storylines are. Like, I would love to hear what bit of our information you guys out there used to better your games, to influence your games. And I want to see how that worked out because let's be completely honest. There's a lot of experience around this table, and sometimes some of these questions that we get catch us off guard, so we kind of shoot from the hip. And I want to see if our shots from the hip land where we want them to.
Oh yeah,
right.
I love it when people tell us about what they've listened to,
Yeah.
about how they're using it. I get these random DMs sometimes. even I don't even have a dedicated D&D Insta page anymore. It comes through my other one, and I'm like, it blows me away every time. I'm like, holy shit, you guys are listening to that? Or some people ask me about things that I said 6 months ago, and I'm like, honestly, man, I don't even know what I said last time. But I will comment on it freshly for you.
My favorite is the like random DM I'll get in the middle of the day on a Friday, and it's just like, you were wrong. Period. That was the message. I'm like,
because they were on episode 23.
About what exactly?
It's just me making fake accounts, just badgering Dan, hammering him at all hours of the day.
I think this is a question we should all answer. So, Adam, where do you see this going for us?
The thing that I like to focus. Okay, so I do the majority of the prep, but of course Dan and I sit down and do the big conversations about where do we want to take it, how do we want to do it, and then I come up with the framework for it, and I run it past him. And 9 times out of 10, Dan looks at me and goes, yeah, good enough. And then we argue about it, in an episode or directly before or after. But I've been trying to reach out to Brad, Megan, and Dave, and Terry, and there are more people. And the thing that I want to do is I want to expand. If you're not growing, you're dying. So I want to. Podcasting is not my passion. I love talking about D&D, but I want to make modules. I want to have PDFs. I want to write for D&D stuff and have that be profitable.
Yeah, you're right. I think just keep going with it. 'Cause no plan comes out finally formed, right?
Yeah.
You spitball it, you roll it, you build on it, and then sometimes, and we know from doing this, you outright forget stuff. Fuck that. I thought that was going to work. It's not going to work. No. Screw it. We'll try something else. But you're right. If you're not going forward, you're going backwards. You have to keep moving forwards on something.
So the thing that I want to do is hit all of the places in D&D and in role playing that other people aren't hitting, right? Which is why we have a discussion podcast, not a how-to or a top 10 list. Our actual play is Call of Cthulhu, right? Or bizarre one-offs with rotating dungeon masters to see how we handle it on the fly.
Yeah.
We do mailbag episodes so that we can talk directly to people instead of answering one question from the YouTube comments below.
Right.
Right. And so we're always looking. The campaign builder. Here it is. Here's a transparency. Dan, I'm gonna blow the secret right now.
Oh no.
So the campaign builder is going to be 105 episodes of how to build a campaign, and then it is going to be 80 episodes of the campaign we just built, where there will be an actual play with the 5 archetypes. And currently, as it stands now, I'm not DMing that shit. That's going to be Dan. Good luck,
it's
bud.
going to be me.
So Dan and I are sitting down and building this so that people will be able to listen to an episode of an actual play and then hear how we got from the conceptual place to the final product. And then, hopefully, have a commentary at the end of every episode. Dan doesn't know this yet, but in my brain, there's a commentary at the end of every episode that says, did it go well? What worked? What didn't? What surprised me? What would I do differently?
And then does that spring off into now you have the written word, now you have PDFs on what you've done?
Assuming that we have the manpower. And that's the other thing that we're looking at doing is bringing on a plethora of more guest hosts and whatnot, which is going to give us the opportunity to do more touring the multiverse and spin-off bits and pieces. And
I can't wait for the It's a Mimic convention. I expect an invite to be a keynote speaker at the convention.
Well, I'm excited.
Someone has to, work the display floor, Terry, of all my furniture.
I'm expecting us at some point to end up at one of the conventions, right? And so that's something else that I want to do. I mean, that's assuming we ever make money here, which is the dream, but not the goal, right? Yeah. So the goal is to have fun.
All right, Adam, I think that's your...
Phenomenal.
It's your go here.
All right, I'm going to roll on the Dave table because no one's done that yet, and he's looking lonely.
19. Dave asked, does pineapple belong on pizza? If not, why are you wrong? The nerdiest way to answer a question ever.
Sweet, compliment, salty.
Yeah.
But it does not belong in every pizza.
Yeah, it doesn't automatically belong on a pizza.
No. It very specifically goes with very specific kinds of pizza. You do not want to... I'm not going to have an olive and pineapple and anchovy pizza. As much as that is salty and sweet, that's overkill. That's nuts. Pineapple is too overpowering. So you put it with subtle flavors.
I think that because this is your question and it wasn't anybody else's question directed at one person, I think that's it. That's the answer. I don't think we have a right to rebuttal at this point.
No, Dan
I don't think we need to rebuttal it because I agree with him.
No, now you give an opinion. You broke the rules.
Well, no, I'm sorry. I not only worked in kitchens for nearly a decade, and specifically Italian restaurants that did like oven grilled, stone fried
Pizza's not even
pizza.
Italian.
They still serve it in Italian restaurants.
Yes, they do.
Where's pizza from?
China.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah, and fortune cookies are from
Where's
LA.
Chinese food from?
West
BC.
Coast, North America.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seriously, when native Chinese people come here to eat Chinese food, they're a little horrified. They're like, "What the fuck is this fast food bullshit? How much MSG did you white people put in our shit?"
Yeah. Anyways, I straight up agree with Adam because a ham and pineapple pizza is my favorite type of pizza.
Really?
Yeah. A pineapple belongs on pizza for that reason. It complements the salty aspects of it. I would like to see other sweet options on top of pizzas as well.
Now that we're doing this, I want to know what justification people have when they get so mad that pineapple doesn't belong on pizza, as though they get to decide what goes on pizza and what doesn't. Hey, your fucking Chicago town or like New York style pizza, by the way, is not anything close to what pizza was originally supposed to be. So as much as I love that, don't tell me that we're doing
Chicago
it wrong.
pizza isn't pizza, it's casserole.
Hot take. All right, let's move on.
Okay, we got distracted by pizza. It's
My
Dan.
turn. I'll go Dave again.
Dave again.
A 12 on the Dave chart.
12. Dave asked, who's your favorite NPC of all time?
My favorite NPC of all time. I gotta think about this one a little bit. My favorite NPC of all time is likely. Probably not of all time. I've been playing for so long. There's been a bunch of NPCs, but of recent memory, in the campaign we played with Adam's campaign, there was a. In the very first session, we met a dwarven cannibal named
Borgin.
And Borgin was my buddy the entire time through, and like the dwarven cannibal, the like greasy, disgusting ship chef, and my like vice-ridden detective gnome were like this little triad of gross, creepy, like old men leering at all the chicks on the boat and everything. So there was a special kinship built there, and then he had a little bit of a story arc where he ended up. Borgin himself ended up being a little heroic, so I Borgin by far, and like the interactions I would have with Borgin on the side were really good.
Terry, what's your favorite NPC?
Didn't expect this question to come to me. I think Yormi. I got so wrapped into Yormi, and the reason I like Yormi's charm so much is because he was never supposed to happen. Somebody fucked with a deck of many things and turned a horse into a goblin that ran through the streets, and nobody knew why that goblin was there. And then you guys found him, almost killed him, learned his.
I tried. Fuck.
Learned his tragic story, and then he just became like critical.
The linchpin of the group,
and he was essentially this child goblin that did not know how to speak goblin because he wasn't really a goblin; he was a horse.
We legit have a picture of Yormi up on the wall here right now.
Phenomenal. Yeah. So probably Jormungand.
Well, that and the entire party got turned to stone, and so we jumped. What was it? 17 years into the future,
something like that, 17 or 18.
And the next time that they ran across Yormi, he was doing everything in his power to. He was the last true hero in the realm.
Yeah.
As far as the gods were concerned, and if he lost his way, that was going to be it. The realm is done. And he was sitting there with like one arm, and he had been through hell. He had learned spells, and he was riding around in a yellow dragon, which was the only yellow dragon that had died, and they had Frankenstein clockwork mechanics into it, so it would fly. And it was a ship that could go. It could fly and be like a submarine as well. And he was the captain of it, and like he was bedraggled and beat to shit, just desperate to get his friends back.
And this all came from this accidental changing of a horse into a goblin party that tried to kill him, and then his one friend who was nice to him, that he had absolute unwavering loyalty to, and I put this this childlike voice on him, and everybody was like, okay, he can never die. So that's it.
Hold on. My favorite is low-key the one person in the background that had the most impact on 2 campaigns, and her name was Ophel Quand, and nobody gave a shit about her. When you guys first met her, she was in a quarantine town that was a walled little village where there were orcs outside. They'd never seen orcs before. They were terrified. They'd closed the trade route. No one was getting in or out, and they were starving to death. She ran the general store because she had a 7-year-old daughter that she was absolutely desperate to protect. And everyone was starving to death, and she was hoarding food. And when you guys found out and revealed it to the town, she was ostracized and nearly left behind. But everyone took pity on her and brought her along. And she was that person that none of the players wanted to deal with. And her whole thing was, I just wanted to protect my daughter. Now, Terry's character, Titus at the time, actually kind of was nice to the daughter and kind of took the kid under his wing a little bit while they were on the road to the next place and rescued the kid on more than one occasion. But then Ophel had to sit there and watch her daughter get executed in a ritual to raise a demi-lich.
Right.
And she was horrified by this. And everyone else got turned to stone, all the heroes. She lost everything. And she was forced to watch it. And it was the darkest moment. Everybody else was like, oh no, my character. And I'm sitting there going, Ophel is traumatized. Nobody knows this. Then we flash forward 17 years and she is running a resistance cell to bring everyone back and get her daughter back. And she has got one of the statues of one of the NPCs that was turned to stone, and she's experimenting on them, and she's building resistance cells, and she's giving information to the new party, and she's trying to build it all together, and she even goes with them. She was the only NPC to go with them into the final temple, and while she's underneath trying to get there, there was a loophole that said you could only get in if you sacrifice someone, so she lay down on the altar and said, kill me, rescue my daughter, and they did. And
what the hell?
It was dark and brutal, and none of the players gave a shit. Nobody did. And I'm like, this is low-key my favorite heroic giving of herself character, and I absolutely love it. Like, Ophel gave me fucking chills, and nobody gave a shit. And she's by far my favorite thing.
Wow. Well, so I think we
did save her daughter, right?
Yes, her daughter was
okay. He doesn't even know. He doesn't even know.
Exactly.
No, it's because one of the reasons why I don't know is because we were handed a list of 60 NPCs that we could set.
42.
42 NPCs.
It's the answer to life.
And we could only save 20 of them. And our cold-hearted, morally ambiguous party were like, well, fuck the children. They have no use. And so a lot of these up-and-coming hero characters that were frozen in stone that Adam was certain we were going to, save because they're children.
And they've got major future plot points and the destinies. Nope, yeah. Left behind. Himdall was the only one, the daughter was the only one to get rescued of all of the children. All the other children left in stone.
Not the only one. We rescued his daughter too. No, we didn't. Never mind.
That's true. Yep.
You pointed at me.
Well, yeah, Titus's daughter was alive. Wasn't
okay.
In stone.
Yeah.
So no, all of the rest of the children.
She was alive at the end, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
All of the children that were there are stuck in stone, conscious, trapped inside their own minds for all eternity.
Well, that's
brilliant.
Incidentally, Titus's daughter was named after a CrossFit chick, Cara Webb. That's why her name was Cara.
Ah, well then.
There you go.
Terry, you're rolling.
Oh, I'm gonna roll Brad. Brad, we're rolling. 18 from Brad. Terry, that's me. Terry, fitness or D&D? One has to disappear from your life. Which is it? Okay.
Ooh.
Well, for me, fitness is a huge part of my life, but it's been part of my professional life for so much in different ways, like marketing for fitness and whatever. That I mean, I have to say fitness because I need to stay alive. That's the way I look at it. I'm planning on living to 120.
Yes, but Terry, Dungeons and Dragons is life.
It is. But he gave me 2 options, and it's either D&D or I'll.
One of them is his job, and one of them is his hobby. It's clear which one.
Yeah, not my job for much longer though. Boom. But fuck. Yeah, I can't. I won't be able to enjoy D&D if I don't have fitness in my life.
From somebody who's already made this sacrifice, D&D is the good point.
D&D is the best.
Yeah.
I don't know, Dan. Okay.
All right.
I'll say fitness.
All right.
All right, I'm rolling on the Megan table. What is that? A 3. Nope, an 8.
8. Megan for 8 says, favorite chick flick or rom-com?
Ooh.
Scott Pilgrim.
No, Adam. Does that count?
How is that not a romantic comedy?
It's a
his
rom-com.
romantic. Yeah, you're right, but except the comedy element is much more. Okay, it's a com-rom.
Yeah. Okay, all right, fine. Your chick flick then?
Are we just going to answer both?
Blue Valentine.
Never seen it, but sure. Is it good?
It is...
Isn't that
that
Lawrence?
No, that's Ryan Gosling and Michelle Williams, which just is... And it is the most upsetting movie, I think, that I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I have difficulty. There are 3 movies that I can't watch, and that's one of them.
What's the other 2?
Requiem for a Dream
Right.
and Legend. Legend is the Tom Cruise fantasy one. I just can't watch because it's bullshit.
Oh.
But no, the other 2 are disturbing. I cannot sit through them, so...
Wow.
Okay,
Dan?
Terry. No, you got to answer because I got to think about this one for a minute.
Another Ryan Gosling one. I like Crazy Stupid Love.
Yep.
It's phenomenal. And Sweet Home Alabama. Reese Witherspoon.
I saw
2002.
Sweet Home Alabama in theaters on a date, and I remember it because I remember sitting there going, "Who is this fucking guy? Who is this guy?" Everyone says, "Oh, the Reese Witherspoon movie." Who is the guy?
That's it. I don't know.
Yeah, and I remember sitting there the whole time being like, "Do
Who's
I know?
this actor?
Do I know your face?"
Yeah, who's this actor?
Right, and I was just, it was just no, I didn't care. I just didn't care. It was one of the handful of movies that I was like, I don't need to walk out of this, but I may need to nap.
Yeah. Chick flicks I don't mind if I know the actors. The only type of movies where I do not want to know the actors is horror movies because I have to be able to believe it. Otherwise, it's just Daniel Radcliffe in an old house. Like,
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. But if I don't know who they are, it's much more real for me.
All right, so I'm having a hard time coming up with movie names in my head. Crazy Stupid Love is the one with Steve Carell in it as well, right?
Yes.
Yes. That one would have been on my list because I love Emma Stone.
Okay.
I'm honestly like rom-com How to Train Your Dragon. I don't know, like
You're really wrong on that.
Sure.
no, I honestly I cannot think of because they all bleed into each other. Like I can't like this one is that scene and that scene. Oh wait, those are 2 different movies. Shit. I honestly I cannot come up with my favorite chick flick. Like what I also don't exactly know what quantifies a chick flick because
This is one of those things where you either know it is or you know it isn't.
It's a chick flick is a movie which is marketed towards women, primarily.
I'm a big fan of the female gross out movies that are coming out. We don't get many of them anymore. But Melissa McCarthy tends to have like
Bridesmaids and those. Yeah, Bridesmaids was pretty fantastic.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that kind of shit.
Bad
too.
Moms type stuff.
Pitch Perfect. I could watch Pitch Perfect any day.
Never seen it. I know a lot of people swear by it. But never seen it.
Pitch Perfect would be a chick flick.
I like
right?
Pitch Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Pitch Perfect. Yes, 100%.
Sure.
As for a rom-com,
It said or rom-com, so don't kill yourself over it. Don't hurt yourself.
I'm having trouble coming up with names.
That's all right. Whose turn is it now? Me?
Yes.
No, that
Dan.
was Adam. It's me. I guess I'm gonna go Megan.
Sure.
Megan for an 11.
Megan for 11 is signature high school outfit that you thought looked cool.
Dan had a zoot suit. I'm just gonna throw that shit out there.
What is a zoot suit? Remember, I was lived in England, so
so there was a trend in the late 90s, specifically late 90s.
For 20 minutes.
No, not for 20 minutes. Where swing music was big.
For 20 minutes.
So like Cherry Poppin' Daddies and
It was the ska era.
You're talking about like the Weasels from
yes,
Roger Rabbit?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
No. 1 second. So in the late 90s, this was a big thing. So when I graduated in 2003
for prom.
I handmade
No, you didn't.
mine and 2 of my friends.
It's fucked up that
Zoot
you're
suits.
the married one of us, Dan.
Mine was bright red because I had red was my favorite color in high school, and I had a outfit that was the iconic down outfit, which was a red t-shirt and blue jeans. I don't know why that was the iconic thing, but it's all I owned. A plain red t-shirt and like.
Dan looked like a Dick Tracy villain.
You probably look like a fucking... You know the Power Rangers where they always wore the color of which Power Ranger they were and nobody ever figured it out?
Yeah.
You just walk around dressed as Red Ranger all day?
All day long. So like me and like two of my super nerdy friends, we had zoot suits and we made zoot suits. And then
God, I feel like you
the
guys
girl...
are like... It's like fucking Superbad or something.
The girl... Oh, it gets worse. The girl we were all interested in whose help we had building it, she broke my mom's serger, which is a sewing tool. And in the outburst of that, she invited her boyfriend to come to the thing and made him a zoot suit that was the fourth color. So, like, I had red, my buddy had blue, my other buddy had yellow, and then this guy shows up in a green zoot suit. And tries to be buddy with us the entire time because
But you guys are the primary colors, so
But we were
you were an after school special. You fuck.
Yes.
I'm done with Dan. I'm done with Dan.
So-
What, you didn't let him into the group?
No, straight up didn't. Like,
I feel like you
we
guys-
all got onto the limo and he was standing outside the limo when we drove away.
I feel like you guys needed as many allies as you could get.
No, we didn't. No,
Somebody was literally saying, I'll
I
wave
am
your
still-
flag and be on your team.
I am legitimately still proud of that because sewing that was difficult and it was an achievement and it was an achievement and I to this day don't know where it's at and regret not having it because I would like to see how good the craftsmanship is, 17 years
This
later.
is where we flash back to me burning it and going, I'm doing the world a favor. I am doing the world a favor.
I am 80% certain that you and my brother have a hand in its disappearance. So I
didn't even know you had it until I saw a picture of it like years later.
Yeah. I don't even have a picture of it.
Gosh, well, that was...
Terry, what did you wear in high school?
Fucking
What was your
hell, man.
signature thing?
Oh, like, I was like skater kid, like skate shoes and baggy jeans, band t-shirts. I was in a band.
Jinko jeans?
No, not that level. That was like, we used to laugh at the kids that wore like the Jinko jeans and stuff. It was more like, we were like elitist, kind of like skater kids.
Did you have a chain on your wallet?
That was more when I was like 14.
That's high school.
It went away as I got a little bit older. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was t-shirt, jeans, ball cap, and a leather jacket all the way through high school. And there was nothing else to it. Yeah. And that ball cap didn't change for years at a time. So, leather jacket too.
Yeah, you had the leather jacket for a long time. I know I had a leather jacket that, because I took the bus everywhere, just was torn to shreds. Like, I kept on getting it caught on things, and it was a soft, lamb leather. Yeah. And I didn't give a shit. I still wore it. And, pieces of leather were, falling off. I'm like, yeah, this is fine. More of my super awkward... I mean, I was 23 when I was wearing that shit. So, I mean, it's not... I can't say kid.
No. All right. Whose turn is it? Terry, rescue us from this fucking
I'll go
fashion disaster.
I'll do Dave.
Terry, if you met me in high school, man, you would have beat me up.
No, I was like social camouflage. I could blend between groups quite easy. 7. Dave asked, who was your first nerd crush? Did it ever go away? Who's my first nerd crush?
It was Nala.
Does he mean does he mean nerd crushes in Rogue from X-Men? Or nerd crushes in a nerd I was crushing on?
No, Dave probably means it'll be what from a nerdy pop culture.
Yeah, it was like I don't think Princess Jasmine counts because it's not nerd culture. It was probably Rogue, I think. The accent.
Yeah.
And the fact that it was
sugar
spray on. Yeah. Oh god, still gets me now. So hot. Never Jean Grey. I was never into Jean Grey.
I never understood Wolverine's thing with Jean Grey.
No, clearly
Never
go for
Rogue.
Rogue.
I understood why Cyclops was there because alpha male. Yeah, that made sense.
Mm-hmm.
I never understood Wolverine's thing.
Dan,
You next.
Me next. I was about 10 when I got my crush on Wednesday Addams.
Really? Oh well, I can understand that for sure.
Yeah. And then she turns around and does a Casper movie and then a sequel to it. And I was in love with Christina Ricci for about 2 solid years.
Then she did Black Snake Moan.
No, I love Christina Ricci, but I respect her as an actor now.
She's got some chops.
Yeah. And she's not eye candy for me anymore. She's legitimately an actor. So
I heard they're redoing the Addams Family and she's going to play Morticia.
Fantastic. Perfect casting.
I'm on board with that.
Yeah.
Me too.
Dan?
I mean...
Jessica Rabbit.
No, funnily enough. Definitely not Jessica Rabbit. I want to say my earliest was Meg from
Family Guy.
No.
Hercules.
God, no. Yeah, from Hercules.
Yeah.
Mostly because she was the like wisecracking and everything else. But in terms of like celebrity crush, Jennifer Love Hewitt and Kate Beckinsale.
Kate Beckinsale is my number one in the whole world.
Yeah, right. Underworld for me, like, movie content, not the, like in terms of plot, not that great, but I will watch that movie on mute for hours.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
But even like when she was still doing them 15 years later, she still looked exactly the same.
Yeah.
All right, here we
Adam,
go.
Go for it.
3 on the Brad table.
3. Why are dwarves a superior race in the Forgotten Realms?
Oh, fuck off. All right, so if you're going to phrase it like that, let me put it to you this way. They are this superior race because they are lawful, they are good, but they don't necessarily have to be. They are known for being weirdly xenophobic, and yet they want to party with everybody. A dwarf can fit just about any role at any level. You can have a dwarven king or a dwarven bartender. You can have a dwarven pirate. Yeah. And it makes perfect sense. It's hard to stretch it for some. Having the Furbolg sitting on the throne of the Ivory City doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah. But I could do that with a dwarf. A dwarf is essentially just a human being with a little bit more of a distinct cultural nature to them, and a longer life. So you do have some interesting things that you can do with them. Plus, I mean, dark vision never hurts, right?
I think it's hill dwarves that have the +1 hit point per level.
Yeah,
on top of a Constitution modifier bonus.
Yeah, that's big. I'm never big on elves or half elves. I think dragonborns are underdeveloped. Tieflings are, just for edgelords. I like halflings. I have a soft spot for them, but I know that they're just weird and they rely on that lucky mechanic. Gnomes are just dog shit. And if you're gonna play a human, then yeah,
such hostility. So basically, you like dwarves because they're down to earth.
Well, they're underground.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You got one?
They like Rocky Road.
Okay, I'm going to grab this red dice that symbolizes the Megan chart, and I will roll that dice for my number. That is a 13 on the Megan chart.
13. Megan asks you, what is your go-to guilty pleasure for your characters? Books for you, Dan.
No,
Next question.
No.
Drugs.
Specifically smoking. No, it's true. Like, I don't like playing characters who are really philanderers. Like, I don't like playing the guy, let's go to the brothel and get laid, her.
That's Terry's.
But
I don't do that.
I actively,
Yeah.
we were playing a Call of Cthulhu game.
Spoiler alert. Thanks, Dan. You dick.
And
this is funny.
I came up to a character and I'm playing this priest, and one of these NPCs that I meet is this old guy smoking a pipe on a bench. And I'm like, I'm going to sit down next to him and pull up my pipe. No, I don't have a pipe. I'm a priest. Why would I have a pipe? And I actually had a moment where I'm like, well, fuck.
What do you do now?
What do I do? Like, twiddle my thumbs and be like, hey, what's up? Like, there was a moment where I'm like,
That's how I felt when I quit smoking in real life.
My Dungeons and Dragons characters need something to do with their hands. It's weird. Like, they
killing people.
No, not that, Adam. Not that all of the time, Adam.
There we
go. Smoking. Like, and as a former smoker now, and as someone who understands it, I do find it mildly reprehensible for my life now, and like actually, like I would never have another cigarette, but like my characters do, and I don't know why that's a thing.
My biggest guilty pleasure is every one of my guys so far has either landed on one side or the other of the coin. He's either sociopath or is absolutely altruistic. And I prefer the sociopath side. My favorite character that I've ever played was a halfling barbarian that just wanted to fucking kneecap people. He was a sailor on the run, so he wasn't anywhere near water, but he was ready to just run around and start cutting the tendons in the back of people's knees. This guy liked to scalp people. Just to look in their eyes while he peeled their scalp back. He was there to make everyone else uncomfortable. Borgin the Cannibal was an easy character for me to play because he's a psychopath. And I spent so much time working in haunted houses and talking about, the best villains and why I like Freddy Krueger over Jason or Michael Myers, because Freddy Krueger is a sociopath. Like, he's psychotic. That guy's fucking crazy. And we don't get real crazy in movies anymore. You get, I tilt my head and act weird. Look at me. I'm in The Strangers. And I'm like, fuck you. You're boring.
Yeah.
Right? So I want someone who just enjoys the bloodlust of it.
I hate the tilt the head thing. Now that you've mentioned it, I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
it's boring.
It's a shitty trope. I am now very aware that I spend way too much time with Adam, and
I could wear your face if I wanted to. Terry, what's yours?
nope.
I think mine is, no matter which character I play, I try and find a way to cause absolute chaos on battlefields. That's my favorite thing to do. Is like,
but is that a guilty pleasure?
It's my guilty pleasure.
Yeah,
it's my thing that we can go into battle and I'm like, I'm just gonna cast fucking silence, or I'm gonna just do this whole thing in darkness, or I'm gonna fucking cast reverse gravity on a pirate ship, or I just want to cause fucking chaos to make it more interesting. I mean, obviously the battles are interesting anyway, but just to make people go, how the fuck are we going to deal with this now? I don't know.
You took the most bland character concept of a champion fighter.
Human champion fighter.
And made it one of the most intriguing, characterful, chaotic...
You say characterful?
Characterful.
Motherfucker.
You're welcome. Characters on the table.
One of my favorite things I did with that character was I handed my weapon to the enemy and told him to stand there and hold it while I monologued to him.
That's awesome.
It was brilliant.
All right, Terry, what do you got?
I'll do Megan this time. 12. Socks or sandals, yes or no?
Socks and sandals.
Socks and sandals, yes or no?
No.
No. Why is that?
Yes,
ever
live your
acceptable?
life.
Do you know? No, fuck that, Dan.
No.
Do you know what the most infuriating things I don't like is not that I want to complain about Generation Z, because there was a time where us as millennials, we were being complained about. I don't like the side fade with the stupid fucking perm that everyone's doing right now.
Adam's not a millennial.
Where were you born?
I'm on the cusp. Everybody argues.
85 is the year.
I was born in
I am 85.
Yeah, I was born in 83.
Okay,
a lot of
boomer.
people say 80. A lot of people say 85. I identify with Gen X.
Yeah, sure.
That's it. I congratulate millennials. Hate the boomers. Good. Fuck you. I'll be over here smoking.
Exactly. But with that comes the stupid slides and socks things that everyone's doing. I hate it. Working in the fitness industry, as everybody knows, lots of times, I interview coaches and put them into positions and stuff. I hate this thing that's happening right now, where it's fucking fitness coaches think it's acceptable to walk in wearing slides and socks to an interview. And I'm like, get the fuck out. You will never ever be taken seriously as an adult because you dress like you're 14.
Oh, slides is in like the slide on and off flip flop. Yeah, okay. I was like, are you talking like Tom Cruise in Dirty Business, like sliding on...
Dirty business. Fuck. God damn son of a bitch, Dan. Risky business. Next question. Terry, roll a die.
Wait, I just said...
Yeah.
No, that was me.
Was that you? Okay.
By the way, I do the socks and sandals with like the big strap on.
That's because you're a dad, and if you do it anytime other than barbecuing, then I'm judging you harder than I've
Oh, no,
ever
it's exclusively a barbecue
It's
thing.
not acceptable. The whole point of sandals is to make your feet breathe.
I wear cargo shorts at the same time, Terry.
5.
Why do you
On the Dave
trying
table.
to be unattractive?
Dave asks,
Because I'm married. I don't need to be a
No.
what is the most dangerous multi-class character? Maximum 2 classes.
The most dangerous?
Yeah.
What number was that?
5. Okay. All right. So bear with me. Oh, well, I'm not going to get into subclasses because I could go deep on that. But I'm going to say Monk Rogue stacks nicely together. But I like the Sorcerer Warlock.
Alternatively, Paladin Warlock. Paladin Warlock, getting your smites back on a short rest? Yep. And Paladins are the highest single source damage output in the game, bar none.
Yeah.
If you get a good smite off, you could do 280 something damage in a single swing.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah. And that's without a crit.
I mean, you guys know I don't build my characters for this reason, but I would say I could see the value in Jamie's Barbarian Sorcerer. I thought
That's so strange because they naturally don't line up.
But it's easy mode lightning. So
It is.
Yeah.
All right, Dan, roll.
Brad. I would like a Brad dice, please. I got a 16 on the Brad
We
chart.
already got it.
we
Roll
already
again.
did it.
All right.
Roll it again, Dan.
15 on the Brad chart.
Favorite snacks around the table?
Oh, I know. Gummies.
Gummies.
I will devour specifically sour gummy bears.
Oh yeah, they are good.
I will absolutely destroy things to the point where we would be playing D&D and Adam would bring sour gummy bears and specifically put them on the other end of the table. And when I would reach for them, he'd put his finger an inch from my face and just go, "No!"
True story. Because Dan will reach for one. It was like the one finger and the thumb is going in, and then suddenly the hand opens up, and he like a fucking steam shovel, just like pulls that shit out.
And then within 30 seconds, they would just be gone.
Oh god.
My weakness is chips. I can't not eat
Chips and dip?
If chips, no, it doesn't matter. Yes, salsa, dip, doesn't matter. If chips hit the table in front of me, it's a willpower battle. I will be DMing, and I don't give a fuck anymore because I'm sitting there, don't eat the chips, don't eat the chips.
That's the
don't eat
problem with being
don't eat
DM
the chips.
is DM, you never get to have the snacks because you're concentrating on what you're doing. Everybody else gets to take a break at some point.
Yeah, no, the quality of my games takes a nosedive for the first 20 minutes. No, not the first. I'm okay. It's the second 20 minutes that the chips are on the table because I've been looking at them for a while, and there's a lull in the game now. And I'm done my monologuing, and someone else's turn, and they're
Yeah.
Okay, can you, and how many times, Dan, can you please put this over there?
Yeah.
I say that all the time as I pass
The
snacks over.
problem is Adam will be like, "Dan, can you please put those over there?" And then he hands me this like thing of chips or snacks, and I go, "I am the least responsible person at this table with to have this burden."
He just grabs the waistband of his pants, pulls it out as far as he can, and dumps the chips down.
Yeah,
Salt
I love-
and vinegar.
I love the chips, but I think what I love more is the pizza breaks. That's when we go through the pizza.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
fucking love pizza.
Yeah.
I'll have pizza 3 times a week, no problem.
Dan.
Is that my turn?
I once had pizza for
Oh,
all
no,
3 of
you
my
just
meals.
rolled that.
I just rolled that.
Terry.
I haven't done Megan for a while. I'll do Megan.
You didn't
just
make it last
did.
turn.
Oh shit.
Natural 20 on the Megan. Would you rather be able to copy and paste in real life or undo in real life?
Like move things from one place to another, copy and paste?
Not even moved, but like duplicate.
Undo. I need to undo things sometimes. I'm a fucking nightmare. Like if I say something, I can undo that it happened.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I'm 100% with you.
100%.
Undo.
I don't have anxiety about that shit. I stand by everything I do. I would like the ability to duplicate shit. My God. Money alone, I'm no longer stressed about.
Yeah, fair one. Yeah.
Right? And I can straight up fucking duplicate horrible shit on people I don't like. Oh, hey, that mole that you have that you're super aware of, bloop, 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 bloop. Now you have 12 on your face.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
That's a fair point. See, well, you
I went dark
did
with
the
mine.
easy route.
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you also confessed to being a sociopath.
No, I confess to enjoying playing sociopaths because I find myself concerned about how my D&D players as a DM, I'm more concerned with what the players are doing all of the time than I am with anything else. I don't have fun when I'm DMing. I have satisfaction when I'm finished, but I don't have fun playing. I'm managing. I'm organizing. I'm facilitating.
Yeah.
This is a job. And that's it. So when I get to play, I want to go balls to the wall. So
Yeah, fair enough.
sociopath is, I am no longer concerned about the social constructs of your life.
Yeah, fair one.
So-
Yeah. Yeah. You said the copy and paste one to to duplicate wealth and stuff, and that makes perfect sense because I was like, oh, undo in case I ever like fuck up a deal or something. I can be like, didn't like that. Okay, we'll try again. 6
But
seconds.
that doesn't matter. I'm rich. Fuck you. I don't give a shit what you think.
Exactly.
No,
you're right.
I am haunted by the stupid shit I've said to people who...
Oh, me too.
So undo. Yeah. If I could selectively undo things from my past as well, that would be fantastic.
I would undo people if I had the power.
All right, so roll a dice, Adam.
You can. There's a way you can do it. You just need to stop their heart from beating.
Why is that the metric that we use to determine death? Isn't it all about brain power? Shouldn't that be the metric we use?
I think it's because,
no,
because
because-
it should lead to the other.
Well, medically speaking, when you are brain dead, that's when your life is at an end and they can no longer sense brain activity. They will call it then as well. Yeah. But people on the side of the road are like, oh, his heart stopped beating. I'm declaring, I'm calling it at this time. And I'm like, why? Compression, motherfucker, get in there. Let's go.
Come on, Disney.
All right, on the Dave table. I'm
Dave
the only
table,
one rolling on
5.
the Dave table.
5.
We already did
We'll
it.
add it.
Do it again.
18.
Nope.
What creature would you choose to have as an animal companion / familiar in real life? What would you name them?
We went over this actually in the Beholders episode. I want a gazer. I want a gazer as a familiar in real life, and I would name him Daniel.
I'm slightly worried and offended.
I'm slightly worried and offended. That's what a gazer does.
Yep. Nothing's more gazer than Daniel.
It doesn't really speak words. It just repeats back what it hears, but in a mocking tone.
Good God.
Come on, that's fucking brilliant. Also, the chaos of random eye rays.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
I don't, like, he's my familiar. We can psychically talk, but I'm putting him over there. I don't want him anywhere near me. He's going to fuck around with other people.
Love it.
Okay.
And his name is Daniel.
Any creature. Doesn't matter if it... Well, I guess it would have to be familiar level creature, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to fuck with Adam, I'd want Hellefont.
Yeah, okay. I could use target practice, man. That's fine.
But also hyper intelligence, hyper good, cute little flying elephant.
I still have nightmares from the Dumbo scene of the pink elephants on parade.
Yeah.
That shit is terrifying.
Yeah, it is.
So, like, and that's what that thing reminds me of. I don't like it.
Fair enough. Yeah,
Terry, what's yours?
Or an Almaraz. That'd be cool
mine?
too. Yeah.
I have a Hellhound. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a big fucking dog.
Yeah, but you get it as a puppy, wouldn't you? Where it's just like
Just
smoldering a little
no,
bit.
a Cerberus.
No,
Get
no.
a cute like little 3-headed puppy.
It's not a hellhound yet. It's a heck puppy.
The heck.
All right, so that's my turn now.
Terry, what do you got?
It's your turn.
Isn't it my turn now?
Who just rolled that?
You did.
Did I just roll that?
Yeah.
I'm not even paying attention.
All right. Pass me
you're
the
up.
Brad dice. A 6.
6 for Brad. Brad is asking, if you could add one race to canon, what would it be?
One race to canon. What would it be? Half dwarfs.
Boo. My opinion, get rid of all the half breeds altogether. No, seriously, we don't need it. We have the half dragon.
That sound bite would be bad.
Yeah.
I am unapologetic about this. We don't need them. They're holdovers. They're nonsense fucking character. We can play orcs. We can play elves. Stop giving the half and half.
Yeah.
If you want to do a legacy template background that they're going to do with Tasha's, fine. Do that. But don't give us these fucking half and half nonsense. I don't want it anymore. I don't see the necessity of it. Just make it dragons, because we have the half dragon template that goes on to things. Right? There we go. We don't need anything else.
It raises too many questions for me because it's like, okay, humans mating with elves. I know if elves are real, I definitely fucking would. But then it's like
Go ahead and bang all you want.
But when it gets to like, or humans like mating with gnomes, I'm like, that seems a little bit too similar to a child. So I'm not on board with it because now it's a bit weird.
So specifically with gnomes, there's a thing that Adam, you're going to want to plug your ears. Pathfinder does very well with gnomes, and they make them very bright and colorful.
They're treasure trolls.
No, they don't have little gems in their belly that you rub.
They probably do.
No, but there's this whole thing that they have called the blanching, where if a gnome is losing its color because of its connection to its Fey origin, it needs to go out and experience adventure, experience life. So they're full of life, and their color reflects that, and that separates them so distantly from halflings and from children that I like that version of gnomes more than I like the D&D 5e.
Of course, you would like the cartoon version of cartoon.
No, I don't think it's a cartoon version. That it's got a tragic side of it because you could get stuck as a gnome who's lost any sort of thrill for life, any sort of adventure, any sort of that.
That is literally the plot of about a third of the Care Bear episodes. I'm sorry, guys. It's cartoon bullshit. I don't leave it out of my fucking game. Take your Holly fans and your fucking treasure trolls and get the fuck out. I'm done with you.
Dan just gets to the end of his busy week and just wants to have a good time.
Yeah, and here's Adam like, no, everything must die.
Breaking your crayons.
I don't help because he wants to kill everything, and I'm like, bring me as close to death as you can. Let me taste it.
Terry, let you roll.
I'll do Dave. Dave at number 5.
We got it. That's the third time we've rolled that.
Fourth time we've rolled that. An 8.
8. Dave asks for number 8, is it male slave bread or male slave bread?
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay.
Male slave, Brad.
Yeah, male. It's male slave.
It's male slave, yeah. All right, next question.
Male slave Vlad.
Brad.
Male slave Vlad.
Blade.
He's got like an Eastern European fucking counterpart of male slave Vlad.
This is
three on the Brad, which we got. We're hitting a lot of repeats here.
Yeah.
These dice are...
What's that, 9?
Mounts in D&D. What tier is most appropriate for players to receive their first mount? Level 1.
Yeah, whenever you want, man. Come on.
I'd say mid-tier, mid-first tier.
Why? Stop telling these people they can't ride a horse because they're level 2.
Yeah, look. When you want to have a fantastical mount, we'll talk about it. What is their CR rating? We'll get into it, okay? And in my opinion, the CR rating should match roughly 1/3 of the party level.
Sure. Mounts are cost prohibitive for a reason. Like, level 1 is supposed to be intro to everything. You earn your mount, you earn your horse. I like giving horses and mounts as a reward.
When you have the knight background, you might as well have a freaking... You are a noble. Why do you not have a horse?
Well, yeah, when you're walking around with 3 retainers with your knight background, why the hell is not one of them
And it seems to make... It's just perfect sense. We all meet in a tavern, we're going on a quest. Great. Let's go and get a couple of horses so we get there faster.
Hey, look, I just think it makes sense. I have no problem giving people mounts, especially because in early days, you're sending them out into the wilderness to either traverse long spans on the map or to go through like thick jungle and into dungeons where mounts aren't going anyway.
Yeah.
So let them traverse quickly between plot points, right? There's no point in dicking around. So
Cool.
Who rolled that nonsense? I think it was me.
You did.
All right, Dan.
Megan. That is a Megan 11.
Megan
Rolled
11,
it.
we've had it.
Good lord. Megan 6.
Megan 6 is name one thing one of your more recent D&D characters can do that you wish you could do in real life.
No, read the entire question.
Name one thing that one of your more recent D&D characters can do that you wish you could do in real life.
It does say, or Pathfinder law.
I thought that was a typo.
No.
Thank you for crossing that out.
So one of the things that my Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder characters could do in real life,
The only answer is use magic.
Yeah,
Cast spell.
cast spells.
It doesn't matter what it doesn't matter what the spell is. Take the most mundane spell. Take fucking True Strike. In real life, I'm taking that nonsense, right?
Yeah.
Allow me to toll some fucking dead.
Yeah.
Right? Like I will hunter's mark the shit out of things.
Oh, even like thaumaturgy,
Yeah.
100%.
right? Yes.
I see.
Prestidigitation. Yes.
Absolutely.
Minor image.
Yeah, Sacred Flame. Like it does not matter what it
Yeah.
is. I'm gonna take it. It's magic. Does it or I gotta go back, or Dark Vision.
Dark vision.
Dark vision would be useful. Like perfect vision in the dark.
That specifically because you have children that leave toys around, and when you go for a midnight snack.
I also work in a job where my head is up in like ceiling tiles very often, so like I have to like I'm constantly fiddling with my flashlight trying to get places. So.
God, I'm glad you said flashlight. Terry,
Flashlight.
Can't I just use a head torch?
No, because have you seen this head?
it's big enough. Won't fit through the.
No.
through the
How come
top.
in this country you say head torch, but if it's handheld you say flashlight?
Well, because we don't say head.
No, we
torch.
say headlamp.
We say headlamp or
you
headlight.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Terry,
Then my
roll.
question doesn't exist. Brad this time. 7. Everyone craps on the default ranger from the PHB. Can you make a more powerful PHB ranger? Can I? No. Next question.
More powerful PHB ranger, like from the player's handbook.
Yes, it's called Arcane Archer. There you go.
There you go. It's from the
did
player's
it.
handbook.
Yeah.
Done it.
Really, yes, just give the fighter the ability to use bows. Like, you don't even have to be an arcane archer. Just be a champion or a battle master with a bow, and you're going to be more powerful than the nonsense that they have. I mean,
Well, you did Battle Master with 2 hand crossbows.
Yeah, and it was
effective.
very effective.
Tasha's is going to come out, and they've got more expanded beast options for the Beastmaster to beef it up a little bit. But, I mean, no, I'm going to go to Xanathar's. I'm going to go to the Revised Ranger. An assassin with the bow. Like, you can do some good things with rogues with
Like
bows.
a sniper type thing.
Yeah.
See, the problem with the ranger in the PHB is, yes, it's a little weak, but it also is the one class that is heavily focused on the least supported pillar of Dungeons and Dragons, right? So do I want to make a ranger more powerful in the PHP? How do I make that more powerful? Focus on exploration in your game.
Yeah.
You want that PHP ranger to feel useful? If you're focusing on exploration and hunting, tracking, survival, that's how you do it.
We've said it before. If you want to play a ranger, you have to talk with your DM ahead of time. You can't just pick what your favorite terrain is or your favorite enemies or whatever it is. You can't do that. You have to know what you're getting into in the campaign, because if you are not in your comfort zone as a ranger, you're useless.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. They're just too specialized.
Yeah.
That's right. And it is
Adam, rolling on the Dave table. Got a 10.
10. Megan, Brad, and Dave are left to fight a cage match style. Who wins, loses, and why?
Well, Dan, Terry, and I win.
Brad won't fight, so take him out straight away. That's always my strategy. If people refuse to fight when it's time to fight, take them out first.
He'll fight.
Yeah, Brad's gonna pull hair and bite and shit.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll fight dirty.
Megan wins because neither of them will hit a girl.
He didn't strike.
Yeah, Megan wins because neither of them will hit. Yeah, no, same. And
Hey,
she's
if you get
vicious.
in the cage, if you get in the cage and you let them lock the door, you're in the fight.
They're not as vicious as we are, though. Like, I'll fight Megan. I'll lose, but I'd fight Megan, no problem. I have no problem.
Actually,
Dave pretends
Megan's
to have
like
honor.
a fucking black belt in karate, isn't she?
No, I know. That's why I say, like, I'm
She will straight up destroy any single person in this podcast, so I'm biting my favor with her and saying, yeah, no, it's Megan. Megan wins every time. Anything Megan wants, Megan can.
Ranged weapons. I could take her.
I'd have to rush her, crowd her, and wrestle her. That's the only way.
You say that about every woman.
Fuck. I'm grabbing a dice.
I've said that exact line multiple times in a bar. Her, I'm gonna have to rush her, crowd her, and wrestle her. That's fine, but what do you want to drink?
He's just saying this to the bartender.
Fuck that woman. What's her name? I don't fucking
Rolling
know.
on the Dave table. 19. God damn it. You already did it. I'm going to throw that across the table.
Roll the dice, Dan.
19 again.
Jesus.
Rolling 18. Got that one too.
You were bad at this.
18. Got that one
Dan, you're
too.
not allowed to play anymore.
8.
Got
Got
that
that
one.
one too. I'm about to change dice. 8. Got that one too. This is good podcasting. 18. God fucking damn it.
Dan,
This is
The dice is weighted. A 1. And then a natural fucking 1.
By the way, the
How
reason
many
it kept
times
rolling
is
was because
that?
it just kept being 18 and 8. That's the reason it went. Okay, number 1. If you could insert one class into D&D from somewhere else, a movie, video game, etc., what would it be and why?
If I can insert one class.
You can insert one thing into a D&D character, what would it be and why?
Not one thing.
Oh,
Terry.
sorry.
That's the wrong kind of projection for this question.
A glaive.
Like upper class, right? Like that's where we're going.
No, we're talking like
Insert upper class.
legitimate class. I like the. There is a spiritualist class in Guild Wars, the original Guild Wars one that is actually really, really good. Both of you are going to look at me with blank faces. Sure. But they basically rely on the spirits of their ancestors to cast their abilities, and their main weapon is a spirit urn that they carry around with them to release these things. So something in that realm, they're not, necessarily evil, even though they've got a lot of hag flavor to them. But I would say
I feel like we scratched that itch in other things, though.
there's not. No, I disagree. There's not a lot of like shaman feeling things in the game right now as it is. Like you've got the ancestral guardian barbarian. That's kind of close, but bard's got nothing along these lines. Grave clerics, maybe.
But everything sorcerer is based on your bloodline and your past and everything anyway.
Yes,
Is
but
this just a
you're
patron?
not pulling you're pulling the power gifted to you from your past, but you're not pulling your literal ancestors out to fight or even just spirits, like
These feel-
pulling on ghosts and spirits of things.
These are just spirit guardians.
But to have a wider range of action than just stand there with and
I
do
guess
damage.
I feel like they cover a lot of ground with the classes that they have.
I want there to be more wisdom based classes that or constitution. A constitution based class other than the barbarian would be nice as well. that's
Sorcerer's con based.
sorcerers aren't con based; they're charisma based.
Well, they've got con as their other save.
Yes, but that's it. So I also want there to be a little bit more of a horror feel in my games. I always do. I like pulling on that thread. So having someone who manipulates spirits and ghosts and draws them from the nether to do their bidding. Not necromancer per se, but like something along those lines, like a shaman. I would say that.
I would like to see something more along the lines of, and this is like inspired from like pilots, would be like some sort of master rider, some sort of that can do things with mounts, whether it be flying mounts from mounts.
Cavalier.
There's the Cavalier, but it's pretty weak.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is that your mounts are also fairly weak through the game. Your mounts are going to die before you do.
On the trifecta of additional minis that follow your character around with the familiars, animal companions, and mounts. Mounts are always the first ones to die. Animal companions second, and familiars. I mean, they die, but
even if there's a way that you could level your mounts along with you,
that would actually be useful.
And as I'm sure some of you will point out, since we recorded this episode, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything came out, which gives us sidekicks as well. So let's also remember that when having this kind of discussion. My answer is going to be, I would like to have a proper psychic class. I don't like psionics as a general rule, but that's because I feel like they're not done properly. If we could have things like sorcery points, or key points, or infusions, artificer infusions, we have these. We should be able to do something with psionics where there are psychic points that you can use. The diviner doesn't do it enough for me. I feel like you would be casting out of the diviner list pretty heavily, but the divine spell school is weak.
Yes.
Right? The divination spell school is under-supported. And I feel like I want to have things where the whole thing this character does is make people re-roll, or they can impart their wisdom in such a way that's going to give other people an advantage. Something that's akin to a battle master
or a bard.
Yeah, like this is definitely a support class. But you would be able to do things like mind spike level of psychic damage to creatures as well. If you're going to do that, though, it couldn't be that powerful because nothing is immune to psychic damage, right? So it's kind of a freebie. Like it would take a real rebalancing of the game, but I miss that. There's nothing like an exorcist. That'd be one of the subclasses, right?
Okay, yeah.
Where you're dealing with the spiritual, you're reaching beyond the physical world to walk through someone else's mind somehow. I would like to see that.
yeah,
Okay.
I like that. Is that my turn to roll?
It is your turn to roll, sir. Don't roll on the Dave list.
No, I'm back to Megan.
5 on the Megan chart.
5 is tell a story behind one of your scars or tattoos. Which one?
You like the band The Misfits.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only one that I forget about because I can't actually see it no matter how I twist my arm. My Halloween tattoos come from, I used to listen to a lot of punk music, horror punk music, Misfits, and like earlier like AFI and things, and it came from that. And this tattoo on my arm is actually a lot of different artists I got when I was in the army. I was traveling around the world. Misfits part was done in Germany. This was done in Canada, Medicine Hat. This back part was done in the UK. And so I kind of it was different artists from those 3 countries that were just adding to it. And it was just younger Terry's decision. But as I get older, it doesn't really sit with where I am right now. But I don't mind it because it was where I was before. So I think that's important. So that's the reason for that. Oh, actually, no. The Black Widow is a better story. This was my thanks to Canada because the Black Widow is native to Canada. When I was allowed to stay in this country, I got this because I didn't want a moose or a fucking elk or something.
So you got a gigantic Black Widow spider.
Yes, and the next step I've always said, but life distractions, pandemics, and things stops you from getting tattoos, is to make this a huge big spider web that goes down through my armpit, and I'll fill this with little insects and Easter eggs and stuff like that.
Okay.
That's the next bit.
Literal Easter eggs.
Little Easter eggs.
Cool.
Yes.
I like it. Dan, I don't have tattoos, so
What were scars?
I've had 2 scars or 2 stitches in my life. I don't have scars. The stitches that I got were like in my arm. There was a weird lump that they're like, hey, it's nothing. If it ever changes, get it removed. And I'm like, hey,
And that's medicine.
it's slightly bigger now. And they're like, okay. And so they I'm not kidding, tiny little less than an inch slice. Pluck that little fucker out. I was awake. I got to watch it.
What it was?
That was just this weird, like, calcium deposit mass thing, but it looked like a fucking koosh ball. It had all these weird little, like, tendrils out of it.
Did you ever have, like, a broken bone or anything like that?
I have broken toes, but that's it.
All right.
I got my nose cauterized when I was a kid because I couldn't stop getting nosebleeds, so they rammed a hot poker into it.
Well,
right.
Yeah, they did that with me and my brother as well.
And now I can't breathe properly through my right nostril, so...
Wow, shit.
Yeah. I am covered in scars. It should surprise nobody. I am an accident-prone motherfucker. But for an easy one, I've got my What Doesn't Kill Me Gives Me XP tattoo. It's my D&D tattoo. It's got the dice on it, and it's got Andoril, King of the Blade of the Kings from Lord of the Rings. So... it's just my nerd tattoo. I hope my entire left arm will eventually be my like hobby and passion arm. Mm-hmm. I've got a bass clef symbol with wood grain on it, symbolizing my love for playing bass and carpentry. I do have plans to get a Super Mario tattoo soon because him and I both were born in 1985, so there's a special kinship there with Super Mario.
There we go.
But yeah, there's that, and then I'm covered head to toe in scars. I've never broken a bone, but I've gotten more than I straight
we'll
up
fix that.
I straight up nearly punctured my spleen playing tag. And
that is the most Daniel fucking thing.
Nerd. Such a nerd.
I nearly punctured my spleen and ruptured a testicle playing tag,
doing physical activity.
Yeah,
I exercised.
Is this why you have twins now?
No, so I was running, and I was in grade 8. I was running as fast as I can, and I'm a chunky kid. I'm a chunky adult. I was a chunkier kid. So, like, for the first time in the game, I was not it. Because everyone would, okay, get Dan, and then we're all good. Because he can't catch us. And that was accurate.
Grappling hook gun.
So, for the first time, for the first time, I was able to actually not be it. And I was running for my life. And I ran out into a tennis court that didn't have the nets up. And I was looking behind me to see where... the person who was it
was. You hit the pole?
And I wrapped myself around the pole going full steam right into it. I bruised a rib, nearly ruptured my spleen, and nearly ruptured a testicle. Because I literally, like, mid-stride just caught it right. And, like, from chest down.
Yeah.
Just, yeah.
Dan.
My dad makes fun of me to this day for that injury.
And so will I.
Like, it'll be middle of a family dinner, and it'll be like, Dan almost ruptured a testicle once. I'm like, thanks, Dad.
Nothing is nerdier than being injured by something athletics-based that you're not even supposed to touch ever. Like, it's not even part of the game. It just holds the net there. That's it. And you got taken out by that.
Yep.
The thing that holds the tennis net.
Yep.
Dan.
5 on the Brad table.
5 on the Brad table. Brad,
how do you deal with DM fatigue / burnout? Fuck. I am struggling with that right now. Honestly, fatigue and burnout, I could DM forever. As long as I get positive feedback. But I've been slammed by negative feedback recently.
Really?
Yep. And I just don't feel like DMing anymore. I really never have the intention of ever getting behind a DM screen ever again until I feel inspired. I just keep pushing it off onto Dan and other people to, you take it now.
Yeah.
Just because I've got, I was running 3 games and I hit negative feedback in all 3 games in the span of about 2 weeks. And then one campaign ended and COVID closed down another one. And the last one just kind of fizzled to nothing. And I went, you know what?
Let's take a break.
Yeah, I'm out. Your DMs are people. And we put our fucking lives on the line for this shit all of the time. I put hours into it. And to wrap a campaign and have everyone say, no, it was good, but all right, fine, man. Cool. You do better.
Yeah, it's hard.
And
man, it's hard and it's stressful and you got to think on the spot and you know, I'm guilty of playing the game and then getting the DM, like trying to throw the DM a little bit by saying something crazy or something like fuck. But truth is when you're dealing with that, like and you're dealing with like, you know, negative feedback and stuff, it's hard, but it's the same. Being a dungeon master is the same as doing anything. It's the same as being at work. It's the same as having to deal with other kinds of stresses. When you constantly have that stress, it's difficult. It's difficult. You need to take a break. It's like having a weekend, you know, from work.
Yeah. And as one of the people who gave Adam the negative feedback at least once on those, I'm sorry. I think I've told you that a couple times, but it's be nice to your DMs, guys. Like, they are humans.
Yeah, and they put a fuck of a lot more time and effort into it than you people do.
Oh, yeah.
The players just sit back and they show up with a character sheet and are entitled to their fun. And there's an expectation that this person will facilitate so that I have fucking fun. But we have gotten into a position in our culture now to say, hey, this movie wasn't exactly what I wanted, so fuck that director. The writing on this show is terrible. Walking Dead is the worst show of all time. No one's making you watch it. It is provided for you, and y'all fucking clamored for it in the first place.
Yeah.
Shut up. We all pretend that we're Yelp critics now. Get over your shit and be appreciative of the things that are given to you. Because you wouldn't do it otherwise. Take everyone else out of your life. Your apocalypse scenario where you're the last man alive, what is all the shit that you don't get? Your panini wasn't made right? Fuck you, make your own.
Yeah.
And I strongly believe that about I appreciate the people in my life. I reach out to them all of the time and I say, hey, this was fantastic. I don't know what I would do without you. Because I literally don't know what I would do without them.
Right.
I couldn't move my house without help, right? So I have friends that are going to be able to like lift and move things. They're going to physically sweat for me. So I'm going to sit back and make fun of them for tripping on something late. Like I don't get it. I rip on Dan all the time because it's I know he's got a thick enough skin that we can take it. And I my bark is bigger than my bite. But I definitely appreciate when people do something good for me. And DMs put a lot of time and effort into it. My burnout is just because of negative feedback. It's not because of the work.
Mm-hmm. No. For me, it usually is because of the work or for the same reason, negative feedback. Like I'll start DMing a campaign and my friends who can often tend towards passive aggressive or either my character is all important and you didn't do the thing I wanted you to do. So
I watched you for 6 weeks prep a homebrew world. And I sat there in the room with you while you're like, I want to do this and this. And I'm like, oh, what about this? You're like, yeah, no, it's good. But I'm going to take a part of that. And I'm going to put it over here. You were excited. You had your whiteboard out. You were working on it. You were drawing on the fucking map on the table. You were so stoked for it. And 3 weeks later, I'm like, how's your campaign going? We're not doing it anymore. Right? And how many times does that happen to DMs?
Yeah. And I am not good at dealing with DM burnout. Specifically, Brad has fallen victim to this where I will handpick one of the players to take over for me, and then as soon as I get the inkling that they can handle it, I pull the ripcord and I get the fuck out. I've done that a few times. I know it's a bad thing to do, and Brad, I'm sorry, because I did it to Brad. It is a shitty thing to do. Don't do that. I've learned from it. Hopefully I don't end up doing that shit again, but that is what I have done is I've just, okay, I've set up the campaign for that player to take it. Fuck it, I'm out.
Yeah. I think with one thing with DMing is because it is a game and it is supposed to be fun, we assume that it's something that we can, as DMs, can continue to do and go. But in reality, Adam's right. It is like a job. It's your role. It's your position. But it's the same as we've all had those jobs where we got to the point and we're like, fuck it, I'm out.
Yeah.
Because you just have to keep dealing with shit. And that's essentially what it can be like with DMing. So I think my advice, even though I haven't always taken my own advice here, is if you're feeling that, you need to not keep going. You do need to stop. You do need to have that conversation before you get to the point where what Dan's confessing there, which is where you get and you're like, fuck it, I'm out, which we've all been guilty of.
Yeah. And like, even if it's just, guys, we're in a bit of a narrative lull right now. Let's take a break. Let's run a couple one-shots. Let's get together, play some board games. Let's do something else so I could just recharge my batteries.
Yeah, break for
Having
summer.
an honest conversation with your friends is always a good path to go.
Yeah, and yes, exactly. And also, don't think that you're doing something wrong if you do that. It's not correct to always keep going and going and going.
No.
You wouldn't do that with your job, or you'll learn the lesson real quick if you do. So don't do it with this.
The last thing that I want to say is there are a lot of people that are new to D&D or that have been playing for less than a year that are expecting I call this the Matt Mercer effect. They're expecting you to be perfect as a dungeon master. And one of the things that I just want to throw out there is that DMs, they do a lot. They wear many hats. And it is a learning curve. And you will always be learning, and it's a different table for absolutely everyone. But you, the player, you get rewards. you get benefits for the work that you do. You get to level up, you get magic items, you get NPCs that like you, and you're pissed off when you get things taken away. Dungeon Masters might get pizza. And it has nothing to do with the work that they've done.
Yeah.
Right? The most important thing that you can do for your DM is to say more than, thanks for this, it was fun, and be descriptive.
Be engaged in your sessions, right? Like nothing speaks to a DM more than a player staring at their phone or being disinterested or saying, I'm just here for the fight.
I know that we've got a lot of people that are doing it through Roll20 and over Discord and stuff. And I know of Dungeon Masters, there's one person that is on this podcast, not necessarily one of the three of us, but who DMs and consistently has a player that is watching YouTube clips with a AirPod in.
That's not going to work for me.
No, that if you're not going to be here, fuck off. And that's why I've given up on one of mine as well. I've got a player in one of my campaigns who shows up after work and is exhausted. And when they're there, it's fantastic. I don't know what version of them I'm getting.
Right.
And when I prep to keep them interested and it falls on deaf ears or they're playing on the phone and they get up and they hold on, I'll be back, and they just go have a shower. They've been playing for 20 minutes and they get up and walk away for a half hour. I don't want to DM for them anymore.
Yeah.
Right? Like I will, because these are my friends and I like them and I'm going to DM again, right? My creative juices will overflow if I fucking don't. And that's bad. And then Dan will just get many spreadsheets about the podcast and then he goes crazy. And then we're going to take it out on, well, these three assholes that write fucking lists because I tell them to.
Yeah.
So, this does get out of control for me. So I have to DM, but anyway, that's, DM fatigue is a real issue, and take breaks and communicate.
And as a player at a table, the best thing you could do to help your DM battle fatigue, stay engaged in the sessions around the table. I don't think we've really harped on that enough. Where it's like,
that's why I said earlier, I don't allow people to have phones at my table.
Yeah. And it's things like, if you're not paying attention in a round of combat, because your turn just finished and you now know you've probably got about 20 minutes till it's your turn again. So you sit back and you just stop paying attention and then you ask the DM, so what's going on? No, it's your fucking job to pay attention. Pay the fuck attention. If you do not want to give...
We all harp on the people that turn to you halfway through the movie and go, who's that guy?
Yeah.
Right? It's the same fucking thing, except we're sitting around a table and everyone feels entitled to have the fun presented to them.
And people get super defensive when people yell at them, oh, you're taking forever with your turn. Well, I got a lot of decisions. Try being a DM. Where now you have that same decision with 15 different mobs. Shut the fuck up. Know your spells. If you don't have the time to learn your spells, do it during the week.
And
Figure it out.
By the way, the DM never expected you to even be doing this in the first place, because last week you said you were going to go the other direction.
So, yeah, right? So, anyways, I believe it's my turn.
Okay.
Sorry about getting hostile on you guys.
I'm not.
We wasn't hostility, it was...
Passion.
Yes.
Passion.
I'm going to roll a Megan table with a 16.
It wasn't hostility, it was passion, Your Honor.
Yikes. What do you got there for 16 on the Megan table?
God, Terry.
What? Man, you got
all right, fine, I'll read it, you fucking plain slap and tickle over there. If you could remove one thing from D&D, what would it be? Could be anything from rules to spells to actions to the entire world. What would it be that you would remove?
One thing that I would remove...
Gnomes.
Yeah, Terry and I are on the same page. Gnomes. All right, well, Dan's thinking I've got my answer.
Go.
He's just sitting there quietly. Spell schools. They're bullshit. I don't like the way that the spells are broken down in the player's handbook. And if we break down the idea, if we get rid of the idea of spell schools, which is a holdover from previous editions, then we will get more interesting, flavorful kinds of wizards, because the spell schools do not apply to any other class. And yet they're such a major part of the magical lore. Get rid of the spell schools, just have spells, order them in new and interesting ways, and allow wizards to be unique and flavorful, like the Blade Singing Wizard or the Warcaster. They've got a couple of new cool ones that are in the Wildmount book as well. Yeah. These are more interesting and they're more fun than I'm an evoker. That's boring to me, right? So get rid of the spell schools.
I have my answer. Get rid of the dependency on charisma as a spellcasting stat. For one class or two classes, sure. But charisma, by far, is the most important stat in the game as it is built right now. I want that done. I want it balanced with other stats. I don't see why there can't be a strength-based spellcaster. Mm-hmm. Why not, right? Let's try to figure it out. I don't understand why warlocks are charisma casters when really they should probably be constitution casters.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones making a pact and
the power's being pushed through their bodies.
Pushed through them.
I
right?
can see that for sorcerers as well, frankly, because of their innate biological connection to magic.
Paladin should be wisdom. I don't understand why they're charisma. Paladin should be wisdom.
I disagree. Remember, wisdom is about the natural world. It's about perception, and it is about, like, you look at the skills, and that tells you what wisdom is. And while paladin should be wise, they're about the social skills. They're getting up. They're leaders of their parties. So
I don't see paladins so much. I think they are leaders of their parties because they have the charisma stat. That is their thing, right? I see like holy warriors, man. Like they have a charge and they lead. They have a mission. They have a goal. They have a divine calling. That's the word I was looking for. They have a calling to do what they do. I don't see that as a charisma thing.
Hot take. Subclasses should have the stat.
Yes.
Not the class.
Please, dear God. Why aren't necromancers constitution or wisdom based casters?
Sure. All right, Terry, what would you remove?
Bag of holding.
Good call.
Oh, fucking
Good
yes.
call.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, Terry wins.
Yeah.
I think the bag of holding is one of the biggest reasons why the exploration pillar of the game isn't as big as we need it to be.
And all of its ilk.
Yeah.
Like Hiwatani Haversack, Portable Hole, get rid of them.
That was Dan's nickname in college.
Hiwatani
Portable.
Portable hole.
Dan wishes that was his nickname in college.
Terry, it's your turn.
Oh goodness! I'll roll Dave.
Down a hill.
Dave, for 2, how do you name your characters? I name them purely based on theme, and I typically will have some mild real world link. But when I played Titus Hawkridge came from Old Spice shower gel called Hawkridge.
Of course it did.
But it fit perfectly.
Yeah, it did. It really
fit
did.
perfectly, and it was because it was in my shower, and I was going Titus Hawkridge. Yes, that's how it came. I have a very like Southern style cleric character, which I probably won't play anytime soon. Whose name is his last name is Remington, as in like guns. So that's where that came from.
Yeah.
Just little links to the world. But I don't like making sounds up. Like I don't creating names where people are like, "This is Oriflu," and I'm like, "That's a stupid fucking word you made up." Like it's
Yeah, Terry does not like the fantasy bullshit names.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I don't like fantasy bullshit.
Dan,
names.
however,
I love this fantasy bullshit names.
I know I know we have very different views on this type of stuff.
Well, the way I do it is, depending on whatever character I am rolling up based off the race I'm using, I will build a name that makes sense for that race. So I have like a Dragonborn trickery cleric that we've met before, who is Dracodandian Drafarn, right? It's got a bit of a draconic
Sounds
name.
fucking ridiculous,
right? But at the
It's your
same time,
turn, Dracodandian.
at the same time, I had a gnome named Lachlan Jiminy Fidgens Boyle. My orcs are always like singular names. It's Oscar. It's Krusk. It's
That fits.
It's something like that. But based off the race, yeah, I and like even if there's sub races there, like my gold and metallic Dragonborns have absolutely ridiculously long apostrophes and exclamation points for clicks kind of names. My chromatic Dragonborns are typically just one singular, still long, but it's one word long name. So like it's just what makes sense to me with the different races. My dwarves will always have like Stout Heart, Stone Fist. That'll be like their last names,
that
right?
fits. I don't like when people take a name that's a name from this world that we know, but we'll change it slightly to like this is Tevin, and I'm like, shut up. Fuck off.
My name is Bobbert.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck it up.
It's
William.
yeah. My name is Jarls. Yeah. No. We do not have the time on this episode to go into
Your naming convention.
Yeah. I have very specific and strict naming rules for myself. So that everything feels different, because Forever DM, I've got many, many tables and spreadsheets of them, and so I've gone through them. I'll tell you this, if they don't have a simple naming convention like Tabaxi, which have things like, what was it, Gentle Fist of the Farsean clan and shit like that. That's their name, right? Or, like you were saying, Stone Fist, right? A Firebeard, right? These are things for dwarves. If they don't have a name for that, I just use an elven name generator because elves have fucking rules and shit that's beyond my linguistics. It's like, if I were to ever name a Klingon, I would just look that shit up.
Yeah.
Right? It already exists. Someone's done the legwork for me. But other than that, are they based on their vowel sounds or their consonant sounds? Orcs are based on their consonant sounds. Mm-hmm. Halflings are based on their vowel sounds. They just are. If you take Frodo, Bilbo, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, those are hobbits, but I look from a linguistic standpoint at all of the different letters and remember that there are letter combinations like CR, TH, the different sides of X, which can be, a Z or Z sound.
Yeah.
It can also be a sh or j sound if you're from a different language. So I break them all down as I've got these 500 different letters. Which ones fit for each one, and then I start to go from there. So
you don't end up with a Je David, for example.
Yeah, exactly. So that's me. One more, Dan.
No, I pulled up the name of the character I'm going to play pretty quick here as an example, but I'll put it away.
No, come on.
It's obscene.
What is it?
Yalak Andal Cordor Lenik Das Bahamaskari Wormagrand.
I don't care.
I don't care either.
He is a brass dragonborn.
No, Dan, we both
don't
said
care.
we don't care.
3 on the Brad table has been rolled. I choose the Brad table
have
because we haven't
7.
rolled it as much as the other two. So
Give me an 18.
Oh my god. 18 again. Man, we are stuck on 18.
6.
Roll number 6 for it. 3
Fuck
again.
off. 5. Damn it.
Come on.
3
again.
Okay, you are challenging
3.
me on this one here.
Oh, God, I wonder.
12.
12.
Yay!
What is your most memorable D&D moment as a DM?
I focus on the failures.
Oh.
No. I do, because it's learning opportunities.
Okay.
So when I think about DMing, and the things that I think about most are when people come back to me with I didn't like it, it was too slow, I didn't feel like I had enough agency, and then I sit down and I workshop that idea and I play it through over and over again. How can I do it differently? Then I wait about 10 sessions and I try it again from a new perspective in a obscured way that they're not going to realize what I'm doing. And that's it. So my most memorable things are when I took the agency away from the entire table and ran a 1 hour long cutscene to round out the end of a campaign, right? Because we had goals that needed to be hit. Some players were taking characters off to other campaigns. We needed to give them a proper send off. It's not about some players. It's about others right now. So we're not going to battle and leave it up to chance and dice rolls. Mm-hmm. Nobody liked it, but it was fair. I think about that one a lot.
Yeah.
And nobody liked it. Everybody hated it. And I think about that one a lot because everyone had to sit still and listen to me talk. And I hated it. And I will never do that shit again.
But with the intent was to do something great and kind, right? And then it wasn't
job
received that way.
And job needed to be done.
Yeah.
So that was it. I got a lot of shit for that one. And so I focused. I don't know if you listened to the last few episodes in the campaign builder, but I harp on the idea of agency a lot. Yeah. And so that was one of the most memorable things for me because that is when I learned about agency. Another one of the most memorable things for me was one of Dan's big failures. My very first game that I ever played, he lit the spiderwebs on fire and murdered the rest of the party. We all sit back and laugh about it now and give him a hard time for it, but he straight up TPK'd his own party. And everyone in that room was pissed.
How old was I?
You would have been a teenager or maybe 20. Like you were young. But there are players out there that do that all the time. and what you're doing is you're taking away the hopes and dreams of the other players. I think about that shit all of the time, right? And so these are the memorable things that stick out for me. I focus on the failures of either myself as a DM or what the players are doing when I set them up for obvious success and they manage to fall over ass backwards anyway. Why? Why did it fail? And that sticks out to me. And so all of my big triumphs, one of my favorite things that I ever did was when Dan and I conspired to murder an entire fucking party. Dan was DMing and I was a player, and we like ended the damn campaign because I like murder, and I disappear. Here you go. Here's my character as a villain. Goodbye. And I step back. I haven't played with that group since, right? And it was one of my favorite things ever. I don't see that as a failure because it was memorable and it was amazing and it was awesome. But it's not the first thing that comes to mind when I think of D&D. I think to people sitting around the table and problem solving, because that's what this game is.
Yeah.
We stack up stats and we write numbers down on pieces of paper and we use dice to solve problems that one person has come up with. So that's what it is for me. I have a beautiful mind about it, but that's what it is.
Okay. Yeah.
For me, I had a hill giant who was a farmer of cows, and his weapon would be to throw cows at things. And it led for many
are very different people.
Many hours of hilarity at the table.
Yeah.
You guys are walking along a lightly shaded forest path, and you hear distantly above you the gentle sound of a terrified cow flying through the air.
The gentle sound of a terrified cow.
It sounds like this.
Yeah.
If it's gentle, how does a cow sound terrified gently?
Distance. Yeah. The other thing I have done, which I will refuse to do now, but I had one player who was fairly toxic at the table, and I decided to take it out on his character, and I killed his character by dropping a tree on him, and the tree didn't kill him. The tree pinned him to the ground, so he drowned in a puddle of, like a puddle no more than like half an inch deep.
That's what we call the unbreakable maneuver right there.
Yeah.
That's harsh.
I love those types of stories.
I was also like in my mid-teens and just done with this guy's passive-aggressive bullshit. So I was like, all right, fine.
Do not use your DM fiat to punish a player's character for the play.
I've learned from this. That was a mistake, but I still remember it because of how pissed off he was.
Yeah.
Terry?
For me, it's a moment when I felt truly rewarded as a DM for my first big moment of having players so engaged in what I was doing. And it was when I was running Strahd and I took Aaronith and Eveline, and they went off and they were by themselves and they were locked into a room with Strahd, and it was a pure role-playing thing. And everybody at the table was silent, locked, engaged on me playing this character with them. And then how the conversation was going and escalating, and it was up to them purely. They didn't know whether they were going to fuck this up, whether they were going to die or not. And watching them be like scared. And I thought, this is so rewarding for me because I'm doing this so well with them that they're like legit scared. They're looking at each other like, I don't know what the answer is. I don't know. And everybody else was like silent, locked on. Nobody was looking at their phones. And then it was so tense. And then when they got out of it, they were like, oh, fuck. Like I could really feel the emotion in the room. And for me, that was just a big bonus because those are the types of games that I like to play in where it's super tension. And I was just really pleased with myself that I managed to pull it off and so early. And you guys know how fucking Adam knows, even more than Dan, how difficult it was for me to try and pull that campaign off, like with everything that was going on.
Yeah, and you did it with flying fucking colors too. That was
so it was like that was the time where it really, really paid off, and I was like, oh, good. My main goal is actually to have somebody cry at the table. So one day I'll get that.
I don't think I've ever done that. I've been close a couple of times.
You had me close.
You've had both of us close.
Yeah, and I think even a second ago when I'm glad you reminded me. I remembered even when you said that when you did your monologue, it kind of went well with how you've been received. The reason that was because of how invested everybody was in your characters, in your NPCs, in the world that you created, and just the taking the agency away made them so mad, and I think took it incorrectly because of how engaged they were in what was happening. If it was just a lot of people that didn't give a shit, they might have just been like, well, that fucking sucked, whatever. And they just get on with it.
Yeah.
You know, but the fact that you got such an emotional response was because everybody was so engaged in what you've been doing the past couple of years.
Yeah, I don't know. I hold myself to the highest fucking standard when it comes to that shit. And, I don't know. It's one of the reasons why I don't like DMing on mic. Because then I have to fucking listen to it and I go, damn it, you should have said that differently.
Said that. Oh, you forgot this. Or you
yeah.
I still sit there and you've called this out, and this is a mailbag episode, so I could get this out there. Who the fuck is Ruben in the Call of Cthulhu thing? Like,
oh yeah, I strung you along.
That was right. Like I straight up as a DM in the Call of Cthulhu thing said the same guy was two different people. And,
in between episodes, because we had a 2-week break between the end of one, beginning of another, and he was unconscious at the end of one, and then we had to drag him out of a basement. And Dan lost his notes, and so went off of memory and dropped the wrong name. And I'm sitting there, we're editing it later, and I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? What happened to that guy? What is this? And so Dan and I are sitting there, I'm like, we need to come up with shit in the meantime. We got to put this into the back. And we created a character after the fact in editing.
Yeah, we were like on the deadline at editing as well. So like we didn't realize this was a problem until like the week before the episode was coming out. There was no way to fix it otherwise. So like it was, I still sit there and I'm like, fuck. And that actually really helped me take better notes as a DM. Because now I'm planning campaigns, I'm planning these things, and I am building quite large lists and Excel spreadsheets about my campaigns, because I'm like, I'm not making that mistake again, where I have these two characters who are vital and like on opposite ends of the conflict as well, that are now the same person. I'm like, but how do I rationalize this?
Yeah.
Right? So...
Well, and the good news is I have peeked behind the curtain for the next Call of Cthulhu thing, and Ruben, the character, is justified and does come back. So,
cool.
In a big fucking way.
Awesome.
All right, who rolled that?
That was you.
That was me. Dan.
Dave. 11.
What's one thing the listeners don't know about you? Oh, that's a good one.
One thing the listeners don't know about me.
Dan's address is...
I don't know, man. I'm a fairly open book. Like, you get what you see. One thing the listeners don't know about me.
What's your kink, Dan?
Dan, if you said lights out missionary, I'm going to be so mad.
You said that in the freaking first mailbag episode.
Yeah. I really... this is gonna cause some division. I don't like cats or squirrels. I am the asshole who will drive towards a squirrel if I see them crossing a road.
You are a horrible fucking person.
What the hell?
Yeah,
Dan?
no, I cannot fucking... I have reasons. I have trauma in my life about them.
You can't just decide you're going to kill something because you don't like it.
So, when I was a child, my family owned a cat who hated me, to the point where him and I would get in straight up like brawls and fights. We lived on a third-story apartment in Calgary at the time, and I remember fighting with the cat. I remember this, fighting with the cat. I think I was 4 years old. It was scratching the shit out of my arms, and I had it around the neck, and I whipped it out of a window. And my mom had to go down and get the cat, bring it back up. It was fine. But
you are a fucking half-orc, bud.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I've never liked cats for that reason, and like just that was just my foundation. And then I married a woman who was a closet cat lover, and when I moved down, when I went down to Ohio to marry her, she had adopted this cat at a summer program, and that was a hard thing to get over.
Man.
And also when I was about 5 or 6, I literally got attacked by like 6 or 7 squirrels in a park in New West here and it straight up traumatized me for like...
What the fuck is happening?
I got attacked by 7 squirrels.
Terry, what's one thing...
Well, what I just learned about Dan is that if somebody wrongs him, he instantly hates all people that fall into that category. So, next.
Yep. No, but what's the thing nobody knows about you?
I am very private.
Yeah.
No, I am very... And I know it's something which is...
I've said this about you. I've said Terry talks a lot, but he doesn't ever talks about himself.
Yeah, and it comes up in my work life and everything. My last big company that I worked for, my boss sat me down and said, "There's rumors going around and different things about you and stories and stuff that are ridiculous things." And I was like, "Why did that come from?" She said, "Because nobody knows anything about you. You don't tell anybody anything about you. And if somebody asks you a question, you divert it with a joke." And I was like, yes, classic. Yeah.
Can I help you with that, Terry? divert it with another question. Just turn it right around on them, and if it starts to get awkward, get meta with it. Why would you ask me such a thing?
But there's no real reason why I'm like that, other than I'm just very focused on what is happening right now. Okay, I'm going to come. I got to record the podcast with the guys. I've got no time to talk about my new couch that I bought or whatever. Or if it's something where it's like if I'm in the middle of still dealing with it, I don't really want to talk about it and get it all out there. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like I am very private, but I'm private with everybody. And it's more just that I'm either focused on what's happening right now, or I always wonder why people want to know things about me. If people are like,
You're an intriguing person, Terry.
Even my mom is like, can you show me your apartment? I'm like, no. Right? That's like, can I see your bathroom? No. Get the fuck out. It's nothing personal.
Mom.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Adam?
I don't know what kind of freaking deep dark secret like squirrel murder or personal paranoia that I can provide on this without driving us into a deep dark conversation here. Yeah. So I'm trying to think, what's something that
you collect lizards?
No, I've posted about that. What's the question exactly?
Something that nobody knows about you.
That nobody like. Okay, all right, fine. Fuck you guys. Here's something.
Didn't I roll this one? Yeah, it's 11. What's the one thing the listeners don't know about you? 11 on the Dave chart.
Well, considering that Dan or that Dave started off as one of our listeners before he became a coffee bitch, and Dan listens, and I've got a lot of people that I know personally. Here's something that nobody fucking knows. Here, I wasn't going to tell anybody, and I'm not going to expand upon this.
I'm worried.
All right.
Go.
I'm concerned.
About 8 years ago, I submitted a piece of poetry, and it got published in a book, and I've submitted it under a different name. I never got paid for it, but I'm a published poet. I'll never do it again. No, you can't know the name, and I'm not going to tell you what the poem is. The end. Nope, I'm not going any further than that.
You can't just... Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
No one knows that. This is the first time that I've spoken about this with anybody.
Why didn't you want to do it again?
Because I wanted to see if I could. I'm not passionate about it. I just wanted to see if I could. I put only meta effort into it. I went, all right, I don't know, something flowery imagery here. There was no passion behind it. I did it, and I'm pretty certain that anybody who's even remotely, anyone who's remotely literate when it comes to poetry is going to see right through it. Yeah. It's not good. It's standard. It's basic bullshit, and I do not let anybody see it. So there it is. That's something that I don't like telling people that. I've never told anybody that. I don't know why I've kept that a secret, but I did it on a whim one time, and then they sent me a letter, and I'm like, oh shit, all right. And I picked it up in a bookstore, and I flipped through it, and I went, yep, there it is. And I don't even own the book. So.
Really?
Yep. I just wanted to see if I could game the fucking system. And I did, and there it is. I secretly believe that poetry is the hardest thing in the world to do, but like abstract art, anyone can mimic it really well, and it takes a keen eye to be able to figure it out.
All right.
There we go.
Terry, it's your roll.
What am I back around to? Megan?
Sure.
What's up, 9? What's your starter Pokemon? Good luck, Adam. Look them up if you have to.
I don't know what the starter Pokemon are. What are they?
It depends on what edition you're going with. But
let's just go OG.
Bulbasaur, no, not Charizard, Charmander. Bulbasaur, Charmander,
Dan.
or Squirtle.
Fuck.
First of all, I was all over Bulbasaur. That is the name of my junk from now on. I'm sorry, Mieka, but you're going to hear that all of the fucking
Bulbasaur
time.
evolves into Ivysaur.
Not
and
Squirtle?
Then, no, and then I heard Squirtle, and I'm like, hello!
That's the name of her
which upgrades to Wartortle and Blastoise.
Nobody cares. Actually, I think a lot of people care.
A lot of people care.
I don't
Pokemon's
care.
huge.
Pokemon has been consistently fashionable for 20 years. It's never gone out for 20 years.
Yeah, here's the thing people don't know about me that I probably should have led with instead of squirrel murder. I was part of a exclusive Pokemon club in high school.
Dan, I didn't know this about you.
I'm not at all surprised you zoot suit motherfucker.
I didn't know this about you, but in a way I did know this about you.
There were 3 of us, and we're like, well, there's 3 legendary...
Is it the same 3 Zoot Suit people?
No, these completely different people.
You had 4 separate people that associated with you in high school.
Yeah. There was 3 people inside of this Pokemon club. This was in middle school. And we're like, well, there's 3 legendary birds in Pokemon. So there was Zapdos, Articuno, and
No one cares. Get to the point.
I was Zapdos. Anyways.
Wait, stop. Hang on. Fuck. You called each other by the Pokemon?
Yeah. We had meetings.
How old were you?
Oh, like 13. And when Pokemon Go came out, and one of the like little things you could play in Pokemon Go, I went with Zapdos because of that reason.
Wait, you referred to each other by these names?
Yeah. We would walk down the halls, and I'd be like, "Sup, Articuno?" Yeah.
You were the reason bullying exists.
Dan, it's like you gotta try, man. You gotta try. It's like you paint your own target on your chest.
I would say that I was excessively happy as a child, but I wasn't. So I don't know why that was
doing the things that lead to being that happy.
Except the things that would lead me to not do Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm not willing to. No. This is part of who I am. I'm okay with it. It helped me develop the thick skin I have today. That's the way I put it. So that I could say.
Sorry, did you say thick skin?
Thick skin.
Thank you. All right, misheard that for a moment. Terry, which one of these Pokemans?
That's why I have the dick skin.
Charmander.
Charmander.
The fire one.
Is that what that is?
Don't go out in the rain or you'll die. The rain will put out your tail fire and you'll die.
Dan.
Fuck.
I don't
All right,
care.
it's me. I'm rolling.
Squirtle, by the way. 100% Squirtle.
10 on the Brad table. Coke or Pepsi? Coke, because they're thoroughly fucking devious. Setting aside the cocaine rumors about what they used to have in their product, which I don't completely believe, and someone's going to send me a fucking link on the internet, but I trust the internet about as far as I can throw it. Or any of the tubes that it's in. I'm going to say Coke because it straight up marketed itself to GIs based on the shape of the bottle being a woman's body back in one of the world wars. I can't remember which one.
Very, very clever.
And that's some devious marketing you just don't see anymore. Now you just have fucking pop-up ads. Right, and
bunch of really horny soldiers in a trench somewhere in friggin' like North France, beating it off to a Coke bottle.
Like it's not even that; it's just the fact that would be more attractive to them. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Also, I like a crisp soft drink more than and they've got better carbonation.
Companies like Coca-Cola, the sugar companies, are the reason that everybody thinks that that is in dietary fat is bad for you.
Yeah, I know.
Because they paid their scientists to say that so that everybody ate sugar. There you go.
Which one, Terry?
Fitness fact. This is the type of thing that I don't care about, and I think, in my opinion, people care too much about.
I'm the same way. I literally don't give a shit.
Like when people are like, it's when the server's like, "Is Pepsi okay?" I'm like, I wouldn't even notice. Like, sure.
Dan's a Pepsi guy, but I mean, Coke Zero is superior to Pepsi.
Yeah. Pepsi Max is okay as an equivalent.
No, it's Coke Zero is superior. I'd say that Diet Coke is better than Diet Pepsi, but Pepsi is probably superior to Coke.
Like
I don't know. I'm
for the standard like cola drinks. It's not going to make me. I'm not going to leave if you don't have Coke. You know.
My answer is RC Cola. My turn to roll. I will.
RC Cola.
Is that even still a thing?
RC Cola? Yeah, it's still a thing. I've seen it.
That's a 19 on the Megan table.
And by the way, the reason that people like Coke instead of RC Cola is not because it tastes better. It's because they're better at marketing. That's the only reason.
Yep.
All right, what's the question? 19 on the Megan table.
This will be our last run through. It's getting close to 2 hours.
Sure.
If you could wake up and live in any fantasy world, which would it be? Think classics or classics to you? D&D related, movie related, / both. I don't like an excessive amount of slashes, Megan.
Okay, so
If you could live in a fantasy world, which one would it be?
As I currently am right now, I would love to live in Game of Thrones world.
Really?
Yikes, that is the most brutal world.
Name one happy person in Westeros, I'll wait.
One happy person in Westeros? Hodor?
Not anymore.
No?
I guess that's true. He did.
Anyone else?
You are far too happy and innocent to survive in Game of Thrones.
There's a simplicity to it that I
go to Middle Earth. You have Hobbiton written all over you, bud.
Yeah, I guess that's true. All right, I'll go with Hobbiton.
Imagine Dan in Hobbiton.
It's like stepping on hobbits by accident.
But you'd be the carpenter, so you'd have to it'd be under the low ceilings trying to get fucking...
I would assume with this magical transportation, there is a limitation of size.
Oh, brilliant.
Terry, what do you got?
Can you go? I'll think.
No, I was stalling to make you do it. Honestly, Why not the Star Trek?
I was
It's a
gonna say
fucking
Star
utopia,
Trek, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
In the future, you get all of this great stuff, and I'm just gonna live on Earth. I'm not joining Starfleet. I don't need to see everything. I'm just gonna not worry about money and do what I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
That's fucking amazing. Clean air, clean water, free food. There's no energy crisis. There's no fucking shortage of resources. There's interesting people all over the place, and there's a simple life for your average citizen, right?
Yeah.
As long as you stay out of the major cities where they like to crash starships into during movies, then you're absolutely fine, right? If you want to go live in, they keep fucking up San Francisco, right? So go live in I don't know, Normal, Illinois,
Yeah.
right? You'll be just fucking fine. Canada in Star Trek, gotta be great. There's nothing going on there.
Yeah.
I don't know, like Naboo, like the planet Naboo in Star
That's
Wars.
Star. Okay.
In
I
Star
thought you were
Wars?
getting them confused.
Yeah, but
I was
you're-
about to flip
but
this
like,
But you're still affected by the rest of the Empire and stuff.
and you got to deal with Gungans.
oh, I mean, wow.
Everything in Star Wars is xenophobic.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
That is the most racist place to live in. Mm-hmm. I ruined the fucking Matrix and the Gold Dragons episode. Let me ruin Star. Now, never mind. George Lucas already did it. Terry, what's your answer?
I have to jump on your answer and say the Star Trek universe as well. Why? What would be preferable to that for anybody?
Look, the simple fact of the matter is they have to go to the fringes of space to find conflict.
Yeah.
And it's a noteworthy movie event when the conflict comes into their space, right? Like,
Yeah.
There's, 3 dozen times that's happened over the span of how many fucking episodes and movies?
Yeah.
It's such a perfect world. Like, there's nothing... Or you know what? Plug me into the Matrix.
Sure. Some people think you're already there, Adam.
Well, there's the brain in the jar philosophy theory, which is a little horrifying when you start talking about free will, but we're not going to go down that road today.
No,
Who rolled that?
that was me.
All right, Terry, what do you got?
This will be our last one.
Last one?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do Dave.
Okay. So 7 on the Dave chart. We've done it.
We've got a lot on the Dave already, so
Okay,
20.
natural 20. Where can I submit receipts for all this coffee I keep bringing?
Well, okay, so if you look directly underneath you, no, keep looking down, bend over further, okay. Now I want you to reach up and grab each one of those meaty flaps you see and spread them. There's going to be a small slot in the middle where you can shove all those receipts, motherfucker.
Oh, God. And
My
that's
turn
it.
then?
That's it. We're done.
No, I get one more.
You're going to do one
Yeah,
more?
all right. Actually, I'm going to do one off the Dave table, too. Because I gave him a bullshit answer on that. 19 we did. Watch me roll for 25 minutes now just to...
9.
Nine,
That's
okay.
good.
Which author has influenced your D&D campaign writing the most?
Stephen King. And my reason for this is not what people think. It's not about the horror. That man does NPCs better than anyone else.
Really?
Every single minor character is fleshed out with a full personality, wants, needs, motivations. They're interesting people with unique quirks about them that are not quirky for the sake of quirky. They're just like, this person has arthritis and they struggle with it. And they're a shopkeeper and it takes them a long time to close up shop. I don't need anything more than that, right? Like, it is so great for me to build fleshed out NPCs. When I start reading his short story compilations, Needful Things was beautiful for this. Anytime that he builds an entire town, which he does all the time, Under the Dome, Tommy Knockers, there's so much good shit in there. Stop reading The Shining and The Stand. You got a too limited number of background characters. Go get the stuff that's in the open world. The big stuff, Insomnia. Great book for that. There's all sorts of really cool background NPCs, and then the way that they perceive the otherworldly, the extreme, and it doesn't have to be horror. There's some miracles that happen in his books and shit too, and the way that they handle it, and you get to see the kind of the struggle with the impulses that the average person has when faced against these over-the-top, bizarre circumstances.
Right.
That is the most interesting thing that I could ever run into. And that's what happens every time an NPC meets a hero, meets a player, right? So I often lean on Stephen King's background characters.
Right.
For me, it'd probably be a tie between David Eddings and R.A. Salvatore.
Boo, man killed Chewbacca, fuck him.
R.A. Salvatore is one of the most gifted action writers that I've read. His way of describing specifically like Dungeons and Dragons level medieval combat and how spells work and stuff like that really inspired my descriptions while I'm playing. And it's notable. As for David Eddings, his characterization that he had, David Eddings was my favorite author growing up. And his entire Belgariad series is phenomenal for developing a character who is both three-dimensional but also like tortured and hopeful at the same time, and like dealing with that dichotomy. Mm-hmm. So I do love David Eddings for characterization, and Ari Salvatore for combat and description and the flow, like the water-like flow of description. Yeah.
I like that.
But at the same time, motherfucker killed Chewbacca, and he could...
And all he does is Dritz, so I don't care.
No, he does more than Dritz. He does do more than Dritz. Dritz is definitely a money pit for him that he constantly goes back to. But
I feel like he probably loves those characters, so I mean, fine, you do you. It's not my cup of tea.
If you want to read Forgotten Realms and want to stay away from Ari Salvatore, read Ed Greenwood. He made it up. So, like, he's the creator. Read Ed Greenwood.
Yeah.
What about you, Terry? Anne Rice.
No, I mean, well, in a way.
Stephanie Meyer?
No, okay, this is, if I was, I was going to go a different direction, say, I never really take inspiration from authors, really, because I'm worried that I'll just replicate them, imitate them. Mm-hmm. I'm always worried about that whenever I'm writing things. So, but I tend to take it more from, like, music and stuff. But just because you mentioned Anne Rice, a reason that I do like Anne Rice on a serious note is because she is an author that leans directly into people and impulses. Like, it is very sex driven, is very whatever. My old psychology teacher used to argue the two reasons that people do anything in the world:
sex and death.
Sex and aggression, he used to say, but ultimately because being death. And I think that that's something that authors like Anne Rice will lean into, where it is the ultimate reason for anything we do in D&D. It's always linked for human impulses.
You'll like this. One of my favorite quotes is that everything in the world is about sex, except for sex. That's about power.
Actually, yeah. I mean, it's true. And people always come to argue things, and I'm like, it's the reason you shower in the morning. No, it's not. It's because I guarantee.
It's because my nuts are itching.
I guarantee. It comes.
I can look, Dan.
But it comes down to nobody wants to walk into a room and be the stinky guy, right? And that comes down to sex.
That was a burden of mine in high school too, Terry.
You were the stinky nerd.
My dad went to a conference in the States and came back with like a Kevlar jacket that I wore all day, every day.
As in bulletproof Kevlar?
As in, it was made of the same material. It wasn't a bulletproof jacket. It was just a red, like, raincoat that was made out of Kevlar.
Oh, shit, I remember that.
Motherfucker did not breathe at all, and I was blissfully ignorant and unaware
of how badly
I stank.
The rest of us, however, were very much aware.
Yeah. I'm not kidding. I was very much a late bloomer in terms of just social awareness.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. But yeah, no, an author like that is perfect because I like very human things to be real. You know, sometimes people have like, oh, they have this trait. I'm like, why? That doesn't really match up with what people generally would do, you know? Mm-hmm. But that's it for another mailbag episode.
Okay.
Thanks, Derek. Thank you. You can now leave. You have met the quota of what you need to do.
You can find other episodes on Spotify, iTunes. The episodes are broken down nicely into playlists on YouTube, and we're pretty much up to date there, so all of the episodes are there. If you want to listen to those in the background at home when you're not leeching off of, your data plan. There are going to be more mailbag episodes. We do one a season, usually at the end of the season. Look for the equinox and solstice. That's when we hit them. You can ask us future mailbag questions. We have a sticky thread in our subreddit. Mm-hmm. And of course, you can reach out and talk to us through our inbox at the It's a Mimic page on Instagram. Contact us through Facebook or reach us at info@itsamimic.com. Okay, bye.
Bye.
So, after credits, do you guys want to rapid fire our way through these?
Sure.
The remaining? Just bang, 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 bang. Just like, no thoughts, no stories, Dan. Rapid fire.
No fucking exposition, Adam. Rapid fire.
I don't expose. All right, so let's roll initiative. We're going to rapid fire our way through the end of this.
I got a 2.
I got a 6.
I also got a
Come on,
6.
Dan.
A 5.
And a 19, so I'm going to go first. We're just going to rapid fire our way through the remaining questions from these assholes because we're never going to answer their questions ever again.
Okay.
So we're going to start. I'm going to start at the top and work my way down.
You got the Dave, I got the Brad, Megan's. Terry's got the Megan.
All right. So, Dave, what is the worst class/race combo in 5th edition and why? The Dragonborn, which is the weakest mechanical class, plus Purple Dragon Knight. All right, Dan.
Or we're just going one at a time?
Yep.
Okay. Create a version of yourself to represent as a big bad evil guy. Who would they be? Megalomaniacal hill giant.
Yep, that'll do it.
Okay, sure. Reflect back on when you started your podcast. Is there something you wish you had known or done differently?
I'm glad I didn't get that one. We'll be here for 20 minutes.
Hey, look, I don't know. I think I wish I'd been more responsible. Is probably a way I think about that a lot. Adam.
What homebrew rules should everyone be using? The number one homebrew rule that I swear by is the buckler. Strap it to the forearm. It adds +1 to AC and leaves your hands free. People are getting hit. Spellcasters are getting hit too much. It's an imbalance, and I don't like it. So that's what I do.
Okay. Boxes or briefs? Both. Terry?
Oh, that's fucking weird. At the same time, Dan.
No,
you
it's
sick
box or
motherfucker.
briefs.
What would be your last meal if you were on death row? It would be a double smoked pizza from the pizza restaurant down in St. John's in Port Moody, in British Columbia, with a...
Sergio's?
No, Spaccia Napoli.
Okay.
On Moody Street. And with probably some IPA of some kind.
Oh, you had me up until the beer.
Who would you rather be stuck on a desert island with, Megan, Brad, or Dave? Why? Be awkwardly specific. Dave is the clear answer because he's a survivalist. However, I have no qualms just eating Brad.
There's not a lot of meat on him.
So I'm going to choose Megan because Megan's the one that I know actually the least about, and I feel like we could play not legitimate chess, but Megan would keep me fucking honest, right? I'm pretty sure that I would just frustrate the shit out of Dave and be like, "Feed me. What are you going to do? Let me starve? Go out and hunt wild boar." And Brad would be like, "Okay, what's that in that hole over there? Is it pick up a fucking rock?"
Yikes. What is your first D&D memory? My friends pushing my half-orc barbarian out of the top of a tower in a stone giant keep, and me falling down the entire mountain. That required 15 minutes of brutal description from my friend Nick, who was the DM at the time.
You probably deserved it.
It was my first character death, and I didn't, actually. I was climbing the tower to scout for my friends, and the wizard bamfed up and just thought it would be funny to push me out the window. And my character died.
Nice.
Derry?
First time I ever played D&D, I DM'd, and I got everybody a little pot of dice. This was to convince them to play with me. Everybody a little pot of dice, and got everybody a little mini, and made them play with me. And in order to run that game, I had to travel from here to Saskatoon to run that game. But it was awesome.
Okay, Dave, why am I so lonely? Oh, fuck, Dave. Bud, we're going to get real here for a minute, my friend.
So upon reviewing this part of the episode, we decided that shit got a little too real, and we've redacted it. So, Dave, come talk to me, bud. We're gonna have a little intervention for you, and we're gonna talk about your loneliness. So, everyone, send Dave a virtual hug through Reddit, and as soon as COVID is over, we're gonna sit down and have a beer, bud. It'll be okay. It'll be okay.
Holy shit.
That guy.
I am not reading ahead on this, so I'm just like rapid fire.
Yeah, cool.
Impulse.
The sun goes out. What do you do? Finally have a moment of peace to myself and probably edit the fucking podcast. Derry?
Something positive. What's the biggest thing you've achieved in your life? I landed in Canada with no money in a suitcase, dragged myself halfway across this country, and managed to survive. And did it mostly mostly with no help. Not that that's something to be proud of, but when you reflect back, you're proud that you were able to do it.
If you could be any vegetable, what would you be? Eggplant. Dan.
We call it an
For
aubergine.
the obvious reasons.
Could have said kumquat.
For the obvious reasons. How do you envision trail rations in D&D? Do you like to cast prestidigitation on your rations? How do I envision rations? It's hardtack and jerky. It's something very sustainable. Do I like to cast prestidigitation on my rations? Depends on the character. Usually no.
My next one. Name an object in your house you wish you was sentient and why. An object I wish was sentient in my house.
The correct answer is Roomba, right?
I guess, yeah, my fucking, I don't know. My bow would be cool. I have a recurve bow. So I guess then it's like D&D.
It's not your smoke alarm, I'll tell you that.
It's not your toilet.
I don't know, that motherfucker.
That's definitely not your bed.
If you had a time machine, what would be the first thing you do? Yes, if. Dan.
Would you go backwards or forwards?
Neither. You don't mess with the space-time continuum.
Okay.
If I could de-age myself while I do it, so I could do shit over again, then I'm interested. Otherwise, I'm just fucking with shit, and I'm a god now.
Yeah.
And no one should have that power, including me. Especially me. Specifically me. Dan.
What would you consider to be a sleeper monster? Seems like a minor inconvenience, but could totally wreck your day. My joke answer is a choker, because it'll put you to sleep. My real answer is the cockatrice, which is a half CR thing that can turn you to fucking stone.
That's
Next.
fair.
Fair one, yeah. Is that me again? Has there ever been a moment in your life where you felt like a hero? Yeah. Do you want last week I was on a hike. I was hiking Golden Ears, and there's a very, very narrow bridge. And as I swear to the Lord, this is true. A young boy who's probably about 8 years old was balancing on the beam coming over, and this was going to go down into the water. And his dad had come over the bridge, turned around to find that his son was doing, and he wobbled and went to fall just as I was going by, and I grabbed him like this and pulled him off and put him back on the bridge. Otherwise, he would have fallen off the bridge.
You're a hero.
It happened so quickly, and then the boy went, "I'm all right," and ran off, and I was like, "Oh, you little shit."
That is back to me. What D&D crossover would you like to see? I don't need to see a D&D crossover. I don't like the crossovers. I don't think we need the Rick and Morty. I don't think we need the Stranger Things. But fuck, if you're going to do it anyway, you might as well give me the stats for the characters that they made in Community. It was fucking brilliant. I would like to play Hector the Well-Endowed in a fantasy realm and not just in reality.
Yeah, I was about
Dan?
to say, yeah, okay. Dan, specifically targeted towards me. Gnomes and orcs are banned from the campaign setting. What are you going to play? Something covered in angst. No,
So Tiefling?
no, probably Dragonborn.
Drow? Oh, Dragonborn?
Probably Dragonborn. They're my third favorite, or a half elf.
Just because it takes you 6 months to say a name?
Yeah,
All right.
and I get giggles every single time I have to say the name. Anyways, Terry.
What is one question players ask when you're DMing that drives you up the wall? I try and be as patient as I can with people because I know when you're in the moment that people ask crazy things. I'm the person who's guilty of going, does a 25 hit? And it's like an orc. Yeah, obviously. Dickhead.
No, I know the one that drives you nuts. What's his name?
What's his name? Or actually, no, the biggest thing that annoys me is if people complain that it's too hard. Well, shut the fuck up. What do you want?
Yep.
Sometimes it's hard.
If you could cast any cantrip at will in real life, which one would it be? Well, shit. But prestidigitation, obviously. Like, it's so versatile. That's it.
Who can hold their breath the longest of the three of you?
Terry.
I can't. Though.
We were both smokers.
So was I.
10 years.
Okay.
Like 6 years.
Really? I don't think I knew that you smoked until today, earlier when you mentioned it. Okay.
How long did you smoke for, Terry?
On and off from 15 to 24.
Yeah, okay. No, I was like, at one point...
I wasn't as much as you.
At one point, I was 2 packs a day of
Yeah,
Benson
I
and Hedges black king size. Like, it was
Oh,
bad.
God, really?
Yeah.
No, I was just like... I was more like a
You also give a modicum of shit about fitness, which is more than I could say for Adam and me.
No, I want to know if I fit. Terry.
Fitness?
What is in your fridge right now? I am.
Hold on, let me guess.
What's not who? What's not who?
No. I want to guess. In Terry's fridge right now,
What do you guys think is in my fridge?
condiments, beer, and shame.
And leftover pizza. Leftover sushi. It's leftover sushi.
No, you were right with pizza. The only reason it's not there is because I already ate it.
Oh, okay.
But condiments, there is beer in there. There's always beer in my fridge. Condiments, beer, and I'm double barreling on Good Food and HelloFresh, where they just deliver the stuff to you, and then it makes you feel fancy because you just put it together.
So struggling against the shame then?
Yeah, struggling against.
I was close. All right. I'm out of questions.
I have. That was me, Terry.
I have one more. Is there an app on your phone that you hate using but you use it anyway? Instagram.
It's my banking app.
Fucking banking app. Oh my god, yeah, probably.
I have one more question, and it's actually perfect that we're ending on this one. Who is your favorite guest DM? And Brad asks, why is it him?
You answer it.
Yeah.
Who is my favorite guest DM? I like the three of them all equally. I say that.
It's
okay. No, my favorite guest DM is Dave. But that's because Dave and I have a massive history and lots of in-jokes between the two of us.
I'll tell you why I like Dave. Because when you first meet Dave, he looks like he's going to kill you. Until you speak to him and you actually realize he's one of the nicest people in the world ever.
Who could totally kill you and get away with it.
Yeah, and like from a distance because he's like
he's a marksman, yeah. Adam, are you going to answer the question? It's the last one. Might as well.
That was my question. Okay, all right. So each of them have their strengths in their own unique way. I am the most excited to be on episodes with Megan because Megan is not a perspective. She brings a different perspective than what I'm used to. Right? I know Dave. I've known Dave so fucking well for like my entire life. And Brad, when Brad opens his mouth and says something, I'm like, yep, that was a Brad thing. I could have predicted that. Not to say that Brad is predictable, but just like I know who Brad is. Yeah. Right? Like when he shoots so straight and so honest, and he's got such a particular sense of humor that I know what I'm getting into with.
The thing I love about Brad is his sense of humor because it catches you off guard because he's such like a genuinely nice guy
with the dirtiest fucking
mind of jokes. Like him and his wife are both the exact same in that regard. The amount of times I've been over at their place and they've like just let out a joke and I'm like, wait, was not in the mental space for that level of humor here. What I see the look in Brad's eye the moment before he says something, and I'm like, here it comes. Yeah. And then he does, and then Dale's like, what? Or Terry's like, Bradley. but no, Megan will open her mouth, and I never know what's coming out.
Megan's humor works
usually
best. Megan's humor works best for me because it syncs so easily to mine. We can do like I'll slip immediately into like a little side bit with Megan that'll just flow, like the joke that she says matches where my mental space was at the time. So I find it very easy to do the podcast with Megan.
Megan's jokes cut me deep.
Mm-hmm. Oh, do they?
Oh yeah. She. There are no bars held there.
It's weird how you phrase shit. Do you feel like English is Dan's second language?
No,
sometimes right off the gate is the one that you say these days, which has me just fucking twitching.
Right off the gate.
Yeah. Anyway,
right out of the bat.
No, you just say right off the gate all of the time. You said one in the Gold Dragon episode. I'm trying to remember what it was, where you mix your metaphors sometimes and you don't know you're doing it, or you mispronounce words like opalescent becomes opalescent. And I'm like, you're close. By God, you're close.
You said dirty.
Forvo.com, Forvo.com, a pronunciation dictionary for multiple languages.
Oh, nobody got the time for that.
Really? I should look at that.